Chapter 3078. Many figures flew out from the courtyards. When they saw the battle between Autumn Moon and Lan Ling, they were dumbfounded. The battle between the two beauties was not only pleasing to the eye, but also terrifying. Nestle, such terrifying strength. Origin Divine Force Factor. Both of them have awakened their Origin Divine Force Factor. Gosh, aren't they too powerful? Who are they? They're so beautiful. I know, it's a woman who seems to be the new member, Lu Ming. She entered Xingyue Ancient City and passed the Gate of Heaven. It can't be, she was only a level 2 heavenly god then. Now she's a level 9 heavenly god. How did she cultivate? What a monster! Without a doubt, Xueqi's cultivation shocked everyone. It was truly shocking. Some even suspected that Autumn Moon had cultivated some kind of cultivation technique to hide her cultivation. When she entered Xingyue Ancient City, she had hidden her cultivation. Above Star Peak, in a place closer to the peak of Star Peak, there were some courtyards where the prodigies of the Starry Sky Camp lived. However, the cultivation of these geniuses was even more terrifying. Many of them had reached the Divine King realm. They were the most terrifying group of geniuses in the Starry Camp. However, these people were also shocked. They flew out of their courtyards and watched from afar. What a beautiful woman! She's so powerful. These people were shocked when they saw it. They were a great threat to them since they had such strength below the Divine King realm. Clang, clang, clang. Autumn Moon and Lan Ling were still fighting. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged more than 100 blows. Although Autumn Moon's cultivation was weaker, only at level 9 heavenly god, she had mastered many kinds of divine force, which made up for her lack of cultivation. However, Xueqi's understanding of divine skills was not as good as Lan Ling's. However, Xueqi had the 9 orifices Sacred Heart's 9-colored divine light, which would greatly increase Xueqi's attacking power. For a moment, the two of them were evenly matched. Autumn Moon was not very familiar with the control of divine power. As the battle progressed, Autumn Moon became more and more familiar with the control of divine power. He became more and more adept at using it, and his strength also became stronger. In the end, Mid-Autumn Moon slowly gained the upper hand. How could this be? At this moment, Lan Ling was extremely shocked. Autumn Moon's strength was beyond her expectations. Not only could she fight with her, but she also had the upper hand. What hurt her the most was that Autumn Moon's cultivation base was only at the 9th level of the Celestial God realm. Lan Ling had always been invincible among those at the same level as her. There were very few who could fight with her at the same level, not to mention those whose cultivation was lower than her. Her self-confidence had suffered a severe blow. God-killing light. Suddenly, Autumn Moon muttered and unleashed the light of destruction. Autumn Moon infused the light of destruction onto her curved blade and slashed out. Clang! The slash landed on Lan Ling's battle sword, causing it to tremble violently. The sword chi on it was dispersed. Lan Ling's delicate body trembled and she was sent flying. She only managed to stop after flying for 10,000 meters. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. You've lost. Autumn Moon did not continue to pursue. She stood in the air and spoke in a clear voice. Lan Ling's face was extremely ugly. She bit her lips and tears welled up in her eyes. She had previously doubted that Autumn Moon was qualified to be by Lu Ming's side. Reality had proven that Autumn Moon was more qualified than her. I've lost, but I'll definitely defeat you in the future, Lan Ling said before turning around to leave. She was too ashamed to stay any longer. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief when Lan Ling left. If Lan Ling insisted on staying in his courtyard, he would have a headache. Young master, it seems like there's another pretty lady who has her eyes on you. Autumn Moon came to Lu Ming's side and smiled. Why? Are you jealous? Lu Ming teased. Autumn Moon blushed and said, No way. Young master is so outstanding. There must be a lot of girls who like you. As long as Autumn Moon can be by young master's side, I'll be satisfied. Lu Ming felt warm in his heart. He held Autumn Moon's hand and walked into the courtyard. After that, it was another battle. After that, Lan Ling did not come again. Lu Ming was happy to be free. He went into seclusion to cultivate and comprehend the Overlord Spear Art. In the east of the Starry Camp, there was a place filled with divine energy. Many luxurious palaces were built in this place. This place was the headquarters of the Jin family in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence. In one of the palaces, The head of the Jin family and a few other experts of the Jin family were discussing something. The atmosphere in the palaces was tense. The head of the Jin family was emitting a cold aura. I've only been in seclusion for a while, and such a big thing happened. Tell me, who killed Jin Xing? Who has the guts to kill the genius of the Jin family? The head of the Jin family said in a low voice. His voice seemed to contain a terrifying storm. Jin Xing, as one of the 4 heroes of the Jin family, had a bright future. But now, he was killed in the Starry Camp. It would be strange if he was not angry. In front of the head of the Jin family, the proud Jin Yuan did not even dare to breathe loudly. Head of the Jin family, the one who killed Jin Xing is someone called Lu Ming. Jin Yuan answered honestly. Lu Ming? Which force is he from? The 9 Extinction Heavenly King residents, not the Lu family. The head of the Jin family asked. He's not from any family. He's from the Qin Tian Starfield. Jin Yuan said. How could someone from the Qin Tian Starfield kill Jin Xing? And why didn't you kill that kid to avenge Jin Xing's death? The head of the Jin family stared coldly at Jin Yuan. Jin Yuan trembled and broke out in cold sweat. He answered honestly, Head of the Jin family, I'm not his match. You're not his match? There's such a powerful genius in the Qin Tian Starfield? The head of the Jin family was slightly surprised. He's a monster. He's only a level 5 heavenly god, but his combat strength is ridiculously strong. Not only did he defeat me, but he also defeated the other geniuses of the heavenly god mansion and obtained a treasure. Jin Yuan immediately told the head of the Jin family about what had happened in the Starry Crescent ancient city. I can't believe such a thing happened. The head of the Jin family and the other experts of the Jin family were stunned when they heard the story. They were really shocked. Monster. He must be a monster with great luck. If we offend someone like him, we must get rid of him. The head of the Jin family said coldly. But he's staying in the Starry Camp. It's not easy to kill him. An elder of the Jin family frowned. Head of the family, elder. This Lu Ming is close to the Wu family. In the Starry Crescent ancient city, the young master of the winged men, Yi Xiang, offended Lu Ming. Lu Ming has been trying to kill Yi Xiang. During this period, he has been asking the Wu family to gather information about Yi Xiang. This might be a chance. Jin Yuan's eyes turned and suggested. The head of the Jin family's eyes lit up and said, You mean you want to use Yi Xiang to lure Lu Ming out? Chapter 3079. You want to use Yi Xiang to lure Lu Ming out? The Jin family's patriarch stared at Lu Ming. R-A-N-W? N-W? W? W? R-A-N-W? E? Nasi? M? That's right. If Lu Ming wants to kill Yi Xiang, he will definitely leave the interstellar barracks. At that time, we can arrange a few scapegoats and have a reason to kill him. Jin Yuan replied, his eyes flashing with cold killing intent. All right, let's do that. The Jin family's patriarch laughed. Patriarch, that Lu Ming has also killed a few of the Qin family sky prides. For this matter, we can drag the Qin family into this. Jin Yuan said, I understand. I will go to the Winged Man clan now. You go and invite the experts of the Qin family to discuss this. In the end, the Jin family's patriarch ordered an elder of the Jin family. The elder of the Jin family received the order and rushed to the Qin family. As for the Jin family's patriarch, he rushed to the Winged Man clan. In fact, a storm had been brewing in the Qin family for the past 2 days. A few of the Qin family's sky prides had died in Lu Ming's hands. The higher-ups of the Qin family were furious and wanted to deal with Lu Ming. The arrival of the Jin family naturally hit it off. Immediately, the Qin family's patriarch rushed to the Winged Man clan to discuss how to deal with Lu Ming. In the main hall of the Winged Man clan, the experts of the 3 major clans gathered together to discuss how to deal with a junior. What's your plan? The Winged Man clan's patriarch stared at the Jin family's patriarch and asked. Let Yi Xiang leave the Winged Man clan and walk outside. It's best if he stays in a crowded place and lure Lu Ming to kill him. Once he kills someone, we will have 100 reasons to kill him. Even the interstellar barracks won't be able to protect him. The Jin family's patriarch said coldly. Bang! The Winged Person clan's clan head slammed the table heavily. He stared at the Jin clan's clan head with an unfriendly gaze and said, You mean to say that you want to sacrifice my son, Yi Xiang, and let Lu Ming kill him? Haha, Brother Yi, you've misunderstood. Of course not. Young Master Yi Xiang is only bait. You can arrange for experts to protect him and then arrange for a few unimportant people to be killed by Lu Ming. Wouldn't that be enough? The head of the Jin family laughed. That's more like it. That brat is bent on killing my son. He should be eliminated as soon as possible. The head of the Winged Man clan nodded. Immediately, the heads of the three aristocratic families began to discuss the specifics. Lu Ming was completely unaware of all of this. In the following 10-odd days, Lu Ming wholeheartedly comprehended the Overlord's spear art and finally made great progress. The first stage of the Overlord's spear art had been successfully cultivated by him. Next, he just needed to slowly nurture it. Then, Lu Ming took out the God of War strike and studied it carefully. At this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed. He ended his comprehension and a sound transmission jade talisman appeared in his hand. Just now, he felt that someone had sent him a message, so he ended his cultivation. There's news about Yi Xiang. Lu Ming scanned the sound transmission jade talisman with his spiritual sense and his eyes lit up. The one who sent him the message was Wu Ming. Previously, he had asked Wu Ming and the others to inquire about Yi Xiang's whereabouts. Now, he finally got the news. Lu Ming left the courtyard. As expected, he saw Wu Ming, Wu Yu, and Wu Zixiong outside the door. Brothers Wu, where is Yi Xiang? Has he returned to the Starry Sky camp? Lu Ming asked. No. Wu Ming shook his head and said, we found out that Yi Xiang had been holed up in the Winged Person clan for some time. However, he left the Winged Person clan 7 or 8 days ago and has been active in the Soaring Cloud region. The Soaring Cloud region. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. After arriving at the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Manor, Lu Ming naturally did some research on the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Manor. The entire planet was the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Manor. It was extremely vast. However, it was also divided into different regions. For example, the core region of the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Manor and the various aristocratic families' headquarters. Other than that, there were some regions where ordinary people gathered or where commercial areas were for consumption. The Soaring Cloud region was a commercial area. There were restaurants, markets, auction houses, brothels, and everything that one could think of. It was extremely prosperous. It was also the region with the most people. Brother Lu, that Yi Xiang had been holed up in the Winged Person clan and did not dare to come out. Then, he suddenly appeared in the Soaring Cloud region and swaggered in and out of various restaurants and brothels. I'm afraid that there's a trap here. We can't act rashly, Wu Zixiong said with a frown. Lu Ming nodded. He had also thought of this point. He wanted to kill Yi Xiang. However, Lu Ming had quite a number of enemies. Perhaps, the other party wanted to kill him too. However, it would be difficult for the other party to make a move in the Starry Sky camp. Perhaps, the other party wanted to lure him out before killing him. Lu Ming's mind was spinning rapidly as he thought of a countermeasure. He definitely had to kill Yi Xiang. If he did not kill him, he would not be able to calm down. However, it would depend on how he killed him. How about this? Let's wait a little longer and observe the situation first, Lu Ming said. He was not an impulsive person. Even if he knew that there might be a trap, he would still kill his way in. That's for the best. If there's anything, we'll inform you immediately, Wu Ming said. Thank you very much. Lu Ming cupped his fists and thanked them. You don't have to stand on ceremony. Lu Ming, the family head of the Wu family, already knows about your matter. He said that if you need any help, feel free to ask. The Wu family will definitely do our best to help, Wu Zixiong said. Wu family's patriarch? Lu Ming was slightly stunned. He did not expect that his matter would reach the ears of the Wu family's patriarch. Perhaps, Wu Zifeng had contributed to this. Everyone, please help me thank the Wu family's patriarch. If Lu Ming needs help, I won't be courteous. Lu Ming smiled. Subsequently, Wu Ming and the rest bade farewell. After Wu Ming and the rest left, Lu Ming was about to return to his room. From the direction of the Star Peak, a figure stepped on the air and flew over. If it wasn't Lan Ling, who else could it be? Why are you here again? Didn't I teach you a lesson last time? Lu Ming glanced at Lan Ling and said coldly. You? Lan Ling was so angry that her chest heaved up and down. She had never been so unwelcome before. Lu Ming, Do you think I want to come? It's my father who wants to see you. Lan Ling gritted her teeth and said, Senior Blue Merchant, could it be? Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. Could it be that Blue Merchant had found a clue from the Dark Knight Devil's storage ring? I've already sent the message. It's up to you whether you want to come or not. After Lan Ling finished speaking, she turned around and left like a proud swan. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He could not be bothered with Lan Ling and followed after her. Soon, Lu Ming came to the Blue Merchant's courtyard for the second time. Senior, did you ask me to come here because you have a clue about the 9 extinction divine crystal? As soon as he saw Blue Merchant, Lu Ming couldn't wait to ask. Yes, I have a clue. Lan Shang smiled faintly and said, Dark Knight Devil King, sealing a projection into an ordinary divine artifact. That's a good method. After saying that, a simple and unadorned axe appeared in his hand. This axe was only an ordinary high-grade divine artifact. Sealed in this axe? Lu Ming was surprised. P.S. Readers, I'm the shepherd boy Ting Zhu. I recommend a free app that supports downloading, listening to books, 0 ads, and multiple reading modes. Chapter 3080. Looking at the axe in Blue Merchant's hand, Lu Ming was surprised. W. R. N. Weina, this was indeed an axe from the Eventide Demon King's storage ring. Lu Ming had checked it a few times before, but he did not find anything. Look, Blue Merchant said. Then the axe floated in the air. Blue Merchant's fingers kept drawing runes and they flew into the axe. Buzz! The axe vibrated slightly, and runes appeared on its surface. The runes on the axe intertwined and radiated light. The light formed a projection in the air. That's the Dark Knight Demon King and the Dark Ice Tribe. Lu Ming saw the figure of the Eventide Demon on the projection at one glance. There were a few figures beside the Dark Knight Demon King. They were from the Dark Ice Tribe. Lu Ming had seen the Dark Ice Tribe before. Hence, he could recognize them at a glance. However, both the Dark Knight Demon King and the Dark Ice Race were very respectful to these figures. Those figures were covered in black robes and their faces could not be seen clearly. This time, we will arrange it well. We will hide the 9-Ju sacred crystal with the Dark Ice Tribe. One of the black-robed figures said. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. They were indeed discussing how to steal the 9-Ju sacred crystal. The members of the Dark Ice Race and the Dark Knight Devil bowed to him. The few of them discussed for a while, and it was all about the specific matters of stealing the 9 extinction divine crystal. Unfortunately, from beginning to end, they didn't know the identities of the few black-robed people. The 9-Ju sacred crystal is with the Dark Ice Tribe. Lu Ming's eyes lit up and he was delighted. Although he did not know who was in cahoots with the Dark Ice Tribe, he had finally found the whereabouts of the 9-Ju sacred crystal. As long as he destroyed the Dark Ice Tribe and took back the 9-Ju sacred crystal, the Qin Tian territory would be safe. Lu Ming, what are you going to do? Blue Merchant asked. What am I going to do? Of course, I will take this projection and make it public. Lu Ming said. That's easy. Maybe we can plan to lure out the forces that are in cahoots with the Dark Ice Tribe and kill them all. Blue Merchant said with a smile. Lure out the mastermind? I want to do that too. But what can we do? Lu Ming asked. Well, you'll have to figure it out yourself. I'm just suggesting. Lan Shang chuckled. He was simply like an old fox. Lu Ming was speechless. However, his eyes lit up the next moment as he thought of a solution. When Lu Ming first came to the 9-Ju Heavenly King Mansion, he was intercepted by a group of people. Now that he thought about it, the other party must have guessed that there was evidence in the storage ring of the Dark Knight Demon King. However, they probably did not know what the evidences Ju's Ju. Perhaps they didn't know that the evidence left by the Night Devil only exposed the Dark Ice Race, but not the person behind it. The Dark Knight Demon King was in a hurry to kill Lu Ming and take away the evidence. Based on that, he could use the evidence to lure the Dark Knight Demon King out or blackmail the Dark Knight Demon King into admitting it himself. Moreover, Lu Ming suspected that the mastermind might be the Jin family or the Qin family. Since Lu Ming came to the Starry Camp, he was targeted by the two families. They wanted to kill him. Maybe they wanted to kill him and take away the Dark Knight Demon King's Ju's Ju. Then, maybe I can make use of Yi Xiong's incident. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. Yi Xiong suddenly swaggered outside. Lu Ming suspected that he might have joined forces with the Jin family and the Qin family to lure him out so that they could kill him. Then, could he beat them at their own game and make a big deal out of it? Then he could blackmail them and make them give themselves away. However, if he wanted to carry out this plan, he must have a strong backing. Otherwise, he would be killed before the plan could be carried out. At the thought of this, Lu Ming told Lan Shang about Yi Xiang and his plan. Not bad, not bad. This is a good plan. After hearing that, Lan Shang nodded continuously. He looked at Lu Ming with increasing satisfaction. To be able to come up with such a plan in such a short period of time was not something an ordinary person could do. If he wanted to reverse Jing Yu's case, he not only needed strength, he also needed brains. Without brains, he would not be able to go far. All right, let's carry out this plan. Your safety will be in the hands of your uncle Lan Shu. Blue Merchant smiled confidently. However, if you want to make a big deal out of this, I alone won't be enough. Don't you have a good relationship with the Wu family? You can borrow their strength. Then, Lan Shang reminded him again. All right. Lu Ming nodded his head and discussed the details of the plan with Blue Merchant. Then they left the place. After that, Lu Ming found Wu Ming and Wu Yu and told them about his plan. All right, leave this to us. We'll send a message to young Master Zifeng. Wu Ming said. Immediately, Wu Ming sent a message to Wu Zifeng. Soon, Wu Ming received a reply. Brother Lu, don't worry. The family head has said that he'll help you. If necessary, the family head will do it himself. Wu Ming said. Thank you. Lu Ming was overjoyed. With the help of the Wu family, this plan could be carried out smoothly. Yi Xiang, I'll take your life. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. Soaring Cloud District was the largest commercial district in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence. The streets were crisscrossed and there were shops everywhere. A large number of people gathered here and it was extremely prosperous. The Inn in the Clouds was the largest restaurant in the Soaring Cloud District. It was also a place of romance. The Inn in the Clouds, as its name suggested, floated in the clouds all year round and was very large. Those who drank here would be accompanied by young and beautiful ladies. Moreover, the wine and delicacies were also top-notch. Naturally, it attracted a large number of customers. The Inn in the Clouds had 3 floors and was very large. There were luxurious tables and chairs placed everywhere and almost all of them were filled with customers. On one of the tables, Yi Xiang was drinking with a few friends. Beside them, there was a beautiful lady accompanying them. Yi Xiang hugged a young lady and his evil claws wandered around her body, causing the lady to giggle. Ha ha ha, come, beauty, have a drink with me. Yi Xiang laughed loudly and raised his wine cup, asking the lady to drink. Since it's young Master Yi Xiang's wine, I won't stand on ceremony. The lady took the wine cup and drank it in one gulp. Good alcohol tolerance. Yi Xiang clapped his hands and praised without restraint. However, from time to time, there would be a sharp glint in the depths of his eyes as he glanced around. Lu Ming, I hope you can appear. Once you appear, it'll be your death. Yi Xiang roared in his heart and his killing intent was boundless. Previously, he was afraid of Lu Ming and hid in the Winged Man clan. He did not even dare to return to the Starry Camp. This matter had become a joke to him. He hated Lu Ming to the bone. P.S. Readers, I'm the shepherd boy Ting Zhu. I recommend a free app that supports downloading, listening to books, 0 advertisements, and multiple reading modes. Chapter 3081. This time, Yi Xiang swaggered into the Soaring Cloud area to lure Lu Ming out. Once Lu Ming came out, it would be his death. However, it had been a few days and Lu Ming had yet to appear. This made him anxious. This guy keeps saying that he wants to kill me, but he doesn't dare to appear. He's also a good-for-nothing. Humph, but this good-for-nothing woman is really beautiful. If there's a chance, I must get my hands on that woman and have fun with her. Yi Xiang had vicious thoughts in his mind. At the thought of Autumn Moon's peerless beauty and perfect expression, there was a raging flame in his eyes. Compared to Autumn Moon, he suddenly felt that the beauty in his arms was simply ordinary. There was no comparison at all. They were heaven and earth. Thud thud thud. At this moment, unhurried footsteps could be heard from the staircase. It spread throughout the entire 3rd floor. Many people looked at the staircase curiously. This was the 9 Extremes Heavenly King residence. Even the weakest person was at the virtual god realm. Those who had reached this realm would not have any footsteps. But now, someone was walking with such well-proportioned footsteps. Obviously, it was done on purpose and naturally attracted the attention of others. Soon, a young man appeared from the staircase and walked slowly to the third floor. Lu Ming. Seeing this young man, Yi Xiong's eyes lit up and he slowly uttered 2 words. That's right. The young man who walked up from the staircase was Lu Ming. Lu Ming walked up to the 3rd floor step by step. His gaze was fixed on Yi Xiong. He then stepped forward and a cold murderous intent filled the air and suppressed Yi Xiong. Yi Xiong, you're finally not hiding in the Winged Man family anymore. Very good. Today will be the day you die, Lu Ming said coldly. His voice was icy cold. In the restaurant, many people's hearts were shaken, and a commotion broke out. Who is this guy? He wants to kill Yi Xiong? Yi Xiong is the young master of the Winged Man family. This guy is really audacious. He doesn't want to live anymore. Moreover, Yi Xiong's cultivation is extremely shocking. Judging from this guy's aura, his cultivation is not high. He wants to kill Yi Xiong. He's overestimating himself. Just watch, there's going to be a good show. Everyone in the restaurant was discussing animatedly, as if they wanted to watch a good show. How dare you? Brat, what did you say? Before Yi Xiong could open his mouth, a young man in his 30s suddenly slammed the table and stood up. A berserk aura pressed down on Lu Ming. Half-step Divine King realm. This young man, who seemed to be in his 30s, was a half-step Divine King. This brat wants to kill young Master Yi Xiong. Looks like he's tired of living. Another young man at the side said coldly. He looked to be in his 30s. However, these young men were too old to join the Starry Barracks, thus they were unaware of Lu Ming's achievements. Otherwise, they would not dare to speak in such a manner. Lu Ming, you want to kill me? Yi Xiong said indifferently. He continued to drink his wine with a calm expression. He was waiting for Lu Ming to come, so naturally, he wasn't flustered at all. Nonsense. How dare you touch my Lu Ming's woman? Your ending is already decided. Lu Ming said coldly. Then, he took a step forward, his killing intent becoming even more intense. Swoosh. Suddenly, a young man appeared in front of Lu Ming. His berserk aura pressed down on Lu Ming. I'm talking to you. Can't you hear me? The young man said ferociously. Get lost if you don't want to die. Lu Ming shouted coldly. Brat, what did you say? You're courting death. The young man shouted coldly. He bent his fingers into a claw and clawed at Lu Ming's head. The moment he clawed, the young man's claw turned golden. The claw pierced through the air, producing a terrifying whistling sound. Jin family. Hee. Looks like you're trying to lure me out. Lu Ming sneered in his heart and threw out a punch. Roar. Lu Ming's fist let out a dragon's roar. Then, a 9-clawed dragon pounced out and clashed with the young man's claw. In the next moment, the young man let out a miserable shriek. Because his claw had exploded. The 9-clawed dragon did not stop there. It pounced on the young man and tore his body apart with its claw. The young man from Jin family had fallen. There was a brief silence in the restaurant. Many people revealed shocked expressions. They did not expect Lu Ming to be so powerful. He killed a half-step Divine King with just a wave of his hand. Lu Ming, how dare you kill someone? You're courting death. Go and kill him together. Yi Xiong shouted angrily. Of course, he was pretending to be angry. He was happy that Lu Ming had killed someone. The people around him were originally sent to their deaths. Lu Ming had killed someone. They had 100 reasons to kill Lu Ming. The Starry Sky Battalion had nothing to say. Kill. Kill this brat. Beside Yi Xiong, another 3 young men roared. Violent auras exploded as they charged towards Lu Ming. The 3 of them did not know about Yi Xiong's plan. When they saw that Lu Ming dared to kill one of their men, they were enraged and charged towards Lu Ming. You're courting death, Lu Ming said indifferently. A long spear appeared in his hand. The long spear trembled and rays of spear light burst out. Puff, puff, puff. The 3 rays of spear light easily destroyed their attacks and pierced through their foreheads. The 3 young experts were killed instantly. Yi Xiong, it's your turn now. Lu Ming stared coldly at Yi Xiong. His long spear trembled and another ray of spear light pierced towards Yi Xiong. At this moment, there was only one young man left beside Yi Xiong. This young man looked to be in his 30s. He had a pair of wings on his back. Like Yi Xiong, he was also a lightning-winged man. At this moment, the young man moved. In a flash, he appeared in front of Yi Xiong. One of his wings swept out like a blade. Boom! The wings slashed onto Lu Ming's spear light and destroyed Lu Ming's spear light. Boom! Then, a violent aura emitted from the young man's body. The restaurant was immediately shrouded by a terrifying pressure. It's a divine king. Second divine king realm. Some people exclaimed. This young man was at the second divine king realm. Indeed, there are experts around him. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He knew that it wouldn't be easy to kill Yi Xiong this time. Indeed, there were experts around him. Lu Ming, how dare you kill people in broad daylight? This time, even the Starry Sky Camp can't protect you. Yi Xiong finally stood up and shouted at Lu Ming while pointing at him. That's right. You killed people of the Jin family for no reason. You deserve to die. At this moment, a voice came from the second floor. The restaurant in the clouds had 5 floors. The voice came from the 4th floor. Before he finished speaking, a figure flashed and a group of people appeared beside Yi Xiong. The leader wore a golden robe and had a handsome and cold face. He was one of the 4 heroes of the Jin family, Jin Yuan. There were a few middle-aged men beside Jin Yuan. Their auras were as strong as mountains. Chapter 3082. Jin Yuan appeared beside Yi Xiong with a few burly men and stared coldly at Lu Ming. You've finally shown up? Lu Ming said in a low voice, the corners of his lips curling into a cold smile. Seeing Jin Yuan, Lu Ming knew that he had guessed correctly. The other party had set this up on purpose to bait him. Looks like you've been waiting for me here. Lu Ming said indifferently. Lu Ming, you killed the Jin clan's men for no reason and even wanted to kill Yi Xiong. How audacious. What do you think the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence is? Why don't you surrender now? Are you waiting for us to make a move? Jin Yuan shouted coldly with a cold smile. Those men were from the Jin clan, but their talents were average. They were pushed out by the Jin clan to let Lu Ming kill them. Lu Ming killed them first, so no one would say anything if they killed Lu Ming, even if Lu Ming was from the Starry Camp. As expected, Lu Ming had fallen into their trap. Everything was going according to their plan. Jin Yuan, since you're shouting so loudly, then come and take me. Let's see if a loser like you can take me down. Lu Ming looked at Jin Yuan indifferently with a mocking expression. As soon as these words were spoken, it caused the others in the restaurant to be surprised. What does Lu Ming mean? Did he defeat Jin Yuan before? It can't be. Jin Yuan is known as one of the 4 heroes of the Jin clan. He awakened his origin source divine power factor long ago. Can Lu Ming defeat Jin Yuan? It's possible. Otherwise, why would Lu Ming say that? The people in the restaurant discussed animatedly as they looked at Jin Yuan and Lu Ming. Jin Yuan's face was extremely gloomy and his killing intent was extremely strong. Lu Ming, now is not the time to fight with you alone. You killed the Jin clan's men. It's time for you to pay with your life. Men, take him down. Jin Yuan waved his hand. Boom. Beside Gold Ingot, a burly man stepped out, and a powerful aura erupted from his body. He was a first King God Realm warrior. His aura was as thick as a mountain. His skin glowed with a golden light as if he was made of gold. Boom. The Jin clan's godly king sent a palm strike towards Lu Ming. The void trembled violently as a violent energy surged towards Lu Ming like a tidal wave. As soon as he made his move, Lu Ming sensed that although this godly monarch of the Jin family had a similar cultivation base as the Dark Knight Demon King, his combat strength was definitely above the Dark Knight Demon King's. In an instant, all of Lu Ming's divine power erupted from his body, and he activated the battle character secret art to quadruple his combat strength. Moon slaying. A low shout came from Lu Ming's mouth. Then, a crescent-shaped spear light violently chopped out. Clang! The crescent-shaped spear light collided with the Jin clan's godly king's palm, creating a dull explosion. At the point of impact, the energy swept out in all directions like a tidal wave. The entire restaurant trembled. However, in the next moment, the walls and floor of the restaurant glowed with colorful lights. Dense runes appeared, blocking the energy waves that spread out in all directions. As the largest restaurant in the soaring cloud district, the restaurant in the clouds had an extraordinary background. It was supported by a powerful force, and the entire restaurant was a treasure. It was covered with great arrays, so it wasn't afraid of a great battle. However, the expensive tables and chairs next to the two of them were not protected by great arrays. They were crushed by the energy waves of the two of them. The other people in the restaurant were forced to retreat. However, there were also experts among them. There were quite a few godly kings. They circulated their divine power and blocked the aftershock of Lu Ming's attack. Bas! The spear in Lu Ming's hand vibrated continuously. A powerful energy surged out, causing Lu Ming's body to float backwards. On the other hand, Godly King's body only swayed slightly before he stabilized himself. Without transforming into his ancient god body, Lu Ming was slightly at a disadvantage in a head-on battle. However, this also shocked the others. Now, many people had seen through Lu Ming's cultivation. Lu Ming was only a sixth-layer heavenly god. It was unbelievable that a sixth-layer heavenly god could fight a first-layer godly king. Die! After pushing Lu Ming back, the Jin clan's godly king immediately launched a fierce attack. His golden palm broke through the air, attacking Lu Ming like a storm. However, Lu Ming didn't want to face him head-on. He used the Nine Heavens Kuanping art. A Nine Heavens Kuanping appeared on his body. With a flash, Lu Ming charged towards Yi Xiang. This time he had to kill Yi Xiang. Whoosh! Lu Ming's speed was astonishing. He charged towards Yi Xiang like a bolt of lightning. Before he arrived, a spearlight had already shot towards Yi Xiang. Save me! Yi Xiang was shocked. Beside Yi Xiang, the Winged Men clan's godly king was already prepared. He flapped his lightning wings and slashed towards Lu Ming's spear light like a sharp blade. He shattered Lu Ming's spear light. However, 9 ice chains immediately shot towards Yi Xiang like dancing snakes. You're courting death! The Winged Men clan's godly king roared furiously. He unleashed a powerful aura and his body was covered in lightning. Boom! 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 Bolts of lightning as thick as an arm shot out from his body and bombarded the ice chains. A series of explosions could be heard as the 9 ice chains exploded one after another. In an instant, the 9 ice chains had all exploded and turned into streams of cold air that dissipated into the air. The Winged Men clan's godly king was a second-layer godly king expert. A second-layer godly king was extremely powerful. He was much stronger than a first-layer godly king. As the saying went, those with a higher rank could crush a person to death. This sentence was also suitable to describe the godly king realm. In the godly king realm, if one's cultivation base was 1 layer higher, he would have an absolute advantage. Even a genius with divine grade divine power would find it difficult to fight against someone with a higher rank. Only some monstrous geniuses could do so. Therefore, no matter how tough the ice chains were, they would be shattered by his attack. Die! Then, the Winged Men clan's godly king shouted coldly. He pressed his palm down and lightning bolts shot towards Lu Ming. However, just as the Winged Men clan's godly king made his move, Lu Ming's body flashed and he dashed towards the other side. This time, he wasn't going to attack Yi Xiang, but Jin Yuan. Yes, this time, Lu Ming was going to attack Jin Yuan. In reality, the reason he attacked Yi Xiang just now was just a facade. His real target was Jin Yuan. In the process of dashing out, Lu Ming's body swelled rapidly. Lu Ming was transforming into his ancient god body. Strangely, the height of the 3rd floor of the restaurant was only a dozen meters. However, as Lu Ming's body grew rapidly, the height of the restaurant also increased rapidly. In the end, it reached a height of a few hundred meters. Its length and width also increased by a few times. Conflicts often broke out in the restaurant above the clouds. There were even fights between people of different races and different sizes. Therefore, the entire restaurant above the clouds was a treasure. Not only was it covered with formations, but it could also change its size at will. Bas! After transforming into his ancient god body, Lu Ming's fighting strength skyrocketed. He swept his long spear towards Jin Yuan. Before the long spear reached him, the terrifying energy wave had already caused Jin Yuan's expression to change drastically. Chapter 3083. Void-Shattering Hand. The Jin family god king who had fought with Lu Ming shouted. His hand glowed as he used the Void-Shattering Hand to attack Lu Ming. Dong! Their attacks collided once again. This time, The shock waves were even more terrifying as they swept out in all directions. Then, a figure retreated violently, vomiting blood. This time, it was the Jin family god king who retreated. The Jin family god king was in the first layer of the king god realm. Although he was slightly stronger than the Dark Knight Devil King, it was not by much. Before Lu Ming transformed into his ancient god body, he was at a disadvantage. Once he transformed into his ancient god body, his fighting strength completely surpassed his opponent. What? Upon seeing this sight, the crowd widened their eyes in shock. The strength Lu Ming had displayed before was already terrifying. But now, Lu Ming's strength could only be described as shocking. He had injured a god king in one move. After injuring his opponent, Lu Ming continued to step forward. His violent aura swept towards Jin Yuan like a storm. Jin Yuan's face changed drastically, becoming extremely ugly. Lu Ming's ability had improved tremendously compared to when he was in Xingyue Ancient City. This simply made him envious and jealous. Kill! Kill him for me! Let's attack together! Jin Yuan shouted. Kill! Kill! The big men by Jin Yuan's side all roared and attacked at the same time, all of them releasing shocking auras. These men were all in the first layer of the King God realm. Their bodies glowed with golden light as they attacked Lu Ming together. Ice chains! Lu Ming's mind stirred, and the 9 ice chains condensed once again. They danced in front of him, blocking the attacks of the few burly men from the Jin family. The first layer of the King God realm could not break the ice chains. After using the ice chains to block their attacks, Lu Ming stared at one of them and attacked ferociously. Moon slashing! Lu Ming shouted, almost using his full strength. His spear chopped down towards one of the big men. Lu Ming was now using all of his strength to execute the moon beheading strike. How astonishing was its power! It instantly pierced through the big man's defense and split his body in half. A god king had fallen. This was considered Lu Ming's first time relying on his own strength to kill a divine king powerhouse. Back then, although Lu Ming had killed the Night Devil King, it was because of Lu Ming's sneak attack. Furthermore, the Night Devil King was heavily injured and was killed by Lu Ming. Now, Lu Ming was completely relying on his own strength to kill his opponent. How could this be? This scene caused Jin Yuan and the others to be horrified. Kill! Lu Ming let out a long roar. His imposing manner was like a madman. His long spear vibrated madly as it continuously slashed out. In an instant, Lu Ming used the moon slashing 3 times. 3 crescent-shaped spearlights slashed towards the 3 big men. Although the 3 big men were prepared and did their best to defend, they were still heavily injured. They were sent flying and coughing up blood. For someone like Jin Yuan, his battle strength was enough to fight against a first-layer god king. He could even gain the upper hand. When Lu Ming was in the 5th-layer god realm, he could already crush Jin Yuan. He could even defeat Chu Baxing and the others who were even stronger. Now that Lu Ming had broken through to the 6th-layer god realm, his battle strength was even stronger than when he was in Xingyue Ancient City. It was naturally easy for him to deal with an ordinary first-layer god king. Several first sky of King God realm guards were killed or severely wounded. Jin Yuan was so scared that he shuddered and retreated hastily. Jin Yuan die, Lu Ming said coldly. He took a step forward and pressed his long spear down with the momentum of Mount Tai. Jin Yuan was shocked. Just as he was about to use all of his strength to resist, a figure suddenly rushed over from the other side. He stood in front of Jin Yuan, his body emitting a dazzling golden light. Dong! The person threw out a palm and hit the long spear. Lu Ming felt a powerful force coming from the long spear. His body shook violently and he couldn't help but retreat. 2nd-layer God King. Lu Ming squinted his eyes. The person who had attacked him was also a big man. Without a doubt, he was also an expert from the Jin family. The Jin family also had a 2nd-layer God King in the restaurant. 2nd-layer God King. Ha ha ha! Kill! Kill that kid! Jin Yuan screamed hysterically. Just now, he was so frightened by Lu Ming that he almost wet his pants. Young Master Jin Yuan, don't worry. Today he will die for sure. The expert from the Jin family said coldly. He was like a golden man. Extremely dazzling. A 2nd-layer God King was much stronger than a 1st-layer God King. Although Lu Ming could kill a 1st-layer God King, he was definitely not a match for a 2nd-layer God King. A 2nd-layer God King against a 1st-layer God King would definitely be killed instantly. There was no suspense. Bang! The expert from the Jin family, who was in the second heaven of the Divine King realm, took a step forward and dashed toward Lu Ming. He threw out a huge palm print toward Lu Ming, causing the void to tremble violently. It was the same void-shattering hand. However, a second-layer God King was much stronger than a first-layer God King. However, Lu Ming didn't dodge. His body flashed, dashing toward his opponent. He's crazy. A thought flashed across many people's minds. They thought that Lu Ming was crazy. Lu Ming's fighting capacity was obviously not a match for a second-layer God King. However, he dared to rush toward his opponent. Wasn't he seeking death? You're courting death. Jin Yuan's eyes flashed ferociously. Die! The second-layer God King of the Jin family shouted and his palm strike became stronger. Qiu. At this moment, Lu Ming shouted. Then Qiu, who had turned into a bracelet on Lu Ming's wrist, moved. Swoosh! Qiu rushed out and turned into a ball. A tentacle extended from its round body and turned into a saber, slashing out. The saber slashed toward the Jin family expert's palm print. The Jin family expert's palm print couldn't withstand a single blow. It was cut in half like a piece of tofu. This scene greatly shocked the Jin family's experts. They were somewhat dumbfounded. His full-powered palm print was extremely powerful. However, it was easily broken by a metal ball. He was stunned and his fate was sealed. Qiu dashed toward the Jin family expert like a bolt of lightning. Its saber continued to slash down. Ah! The Jin family expert roared furiously. He had just set up a layer of defense when Qiu's saber slashed through it. Swoosh! The Jin family expert's defense was like a piece of paper. His entire body was cut in half and he died on the spot. Qiu's strength was terrifying. Even in the King God realm, it could kill opponents with a higher level. Now that Xueqi had broken through to the second-layer God King, it was easy for it to kill someone at the same level. This. Jin Yuan was dumbfounded. His brain turned into paste. He was completely dumbfounded. He had never thought that a second-layer God King of the Jin family would be killed just like that. Run! In the next moment, he screamed crazily in his mind. He wanted to retreat and run away. However, how could Lu Ming let him do as he wished? Boom! A huge spear light pressed down on Jin Yuan. Chapter 3084. Lu Ming thrusted out his spear. A giant spear light pressed down on Jin Yuan. At this moment, Jin Yuan was in a state of panic. He hurriedly circulated his energy to block the attack. However, he could not even unleash half of his abilities. In the end, he could only let out a miserable cry before he was blasted apart by Lu Ming's spear gleam. Jin Yuan had fallen. The others in the restaurant took in a cold breath. They were terrified. Big deal. They knew that something big had happened today. Several King God realm warriors of the Jin family had been killed. Now, even Jin Yuan, one of the 4 heroes of the Jin family, had been killed. If the Jin family knew, they would go crazy. At the same time, they were shocked by Lu Ming's power. He had just killed a King God realm warrior of the Jin family. Now, he had killed a second King God realm warrior. Metal life form. It's a metal life form. No wonder I didn't sense any aura before. Some people discussed animatedly. Let's go. At this moment, the second sky of King God realm warrior of the Winged Man clan took Yixiang and stormed out of the restaurant through the window. Lu Ming had just killed the Jin family's warriors and Jin Yuan. Yixiang was scared out of his wits. The second King God realm warrior didn't dare to linger. He took Yixiang and ran away. They had miscalculated. They knew they had miscalculated. They had never thought that Lu Ming would have a terrifying metal life form. Want to run away? Today, you will die together with me. Lu Ming shouted coldly. He took Xueqi and dashed out of the window. Boom! As soon as they were out of the window, Lu Ming thrusted out his spear. A giant spear light was like a boundless mountain range, pressing down on Yixiang and the Winged Men clan's warrior. The air was stirred up, creating a violent sound that alerted the people nearby. Nearby, everyone stopped to watch. Slash! The Winged Men clan's warrior flapped his wings. A sharp light slashed up to the sky, shattering Lu Ming's spear light. However, his speed was also hindered for a moment. His speed was greatly reduced. Xueqi seized the chance and flew out, catching up with Yixiang and the Winged Men clan's warrior. Young master, you go first. The expert from the Winged Men clan roared and turned around abruptly. His pair of wings rapidly enlarged and filled with boundless lightning. Then, the boundless lightning struck towards Xueqi. However, lightning was completely ineffective against Xueqi. Xueqi itself carried a type of terrifying lightning with boundless power, so when these lightning bolts struck Xueqi, they were directly absorbed by Xueqi. Xueqi was not hindered in the slightest. Its figure charged through and then slashed at the Winged Men expert. This person had not expected the lightning to be useless against Xueqi and was caught off guard. Puchi! Xueqi's saber slashed down and the man was cleaved into two. Ah! Yixiang screamed in fright. Your turn. Lu Ming coldly spoke as he stepped out, rushing towards Yixiang. How dare you? You're courting death. At this moment, a few angry roars could be heard from the surroundings. Thereafter, a few terrifying auras spread toward Lu Ming from all directions. Under the pressure of these auras, Lu Ming's body trembled violently as if several divine mountains were pressing down on his body. He almost vomited blood. Then, several figures rushed over with terrifying speed. In a flash, they were beside Yixiang. There were 3 of them, 3 big men. One was wearing a golden robe, one had a pair of lightning wings on his back, and one had scales between his eyebrows. One was from the Jin family, one was from the Winged Men clan, and the last one was from the Qin family. These 3 men had been guarding the tower in the clouds. However, Lu Ming had just charged out and Xueqi had killed the Winged Men clan's expert. It had happened so fast that these experts did not even have time to react. When the Winged Men clan's expert was killed, they reacted and rushed over, protecting Yixiang in the middle. Third King God Realm. Lu Ming's face turned solemn. The 3 of them were the third sky of the King God Realm experts. Their competence was terrifying. With Lu Ming's strength, he would be killed in a second if he faced a third King God Realm expert. Ha ha ha, they're here. Finally they're here. Yixiang exhaled in relief. Then, he laughed crazily in his heart. His eyes were ferocious. Kill. Kill this brat. He killed Jin Yuan. He killed Jin Yuan. Yixiang screamed. What? He killed Jin Yuan? Damn it! When the big man from the Jin family heard the news, he roared furiously. His aura exploded like a volcano. His anger soared to the sky. His murderous aura was extremely cold. His body trembled because of his anger. He gazed at Lu Ming. They had made a mistake. They had made a mistake. They had been guarding the tower in the clouds. They had seen Lu Ming enter the tower in the clouds. They had seen Lu Ming enter the tower in the clouds alone. Thus, they had not followed him. There were several second King God Realm experts and some first King God Realm experts in the tower in the clouds. It was easy for them to deal with Lu Ming. If there had been experts following Lu Ming, they would have entered the tower in the clouds as well. They had never thought that Lu Ming would have a metallic life form with him. The metallic life form was strange. When Lu Ming wore it, it looked like a piece of jewelry. Unless they sensed it carefully, they would not be able to find anything fishy. Thus, they knew they had made a mistake. They had sacrificed Jin Yuan for nothing. Kid, I will grind your bones to dust. The third King God Realm expert of the Jin family roared furiously. His wild aura locked on Lu Ming. Lu Ming felt like a mountain was pressing down on him. He couldn't move. Xueqi, Lu Ming sent Xueqi a message. Xueqi flew back to Lu Ming and turned back into a bracelet. It wrapped itself around Lu Ming's wrist. With Xueqi's power, Lu Ming shook his arm and broke the opponent's oppressive aura. However, in the next moment, the Jin family expert took a step forward. He dashed towards Lu Ming like a beam of golden light. His palm turned golden as it slammed down on Lu Ming. A loud explosion resounded in the air. The terrifying energy was like a tsunami. A third King God Realm expert's divine power was extremely shocking. It was much stronger than a second King God Realm expert. Xueqi, I'm counting on you. Lu Ming sent a message to Xueqi. Don't worry. It's just a third King God Realm expert. Leave it to me. Xueqi's voice resounded. Then, its body wriggled, wrapping around Lu Ming's fist. Lu Ming put away his spear and punched out. Creak creak. After Lu Ming punched out, Xueqi's body emitted streaks of lightning. Boom. Lu Ming's fist collided with the third King God Realm expert's palm. An earth-shattering explosion resounded. The terrifying shockwave almost blew the tower in the clouds away. Creak, creak, creak. Xueqi's body was covered in lightning. This kind of lightning came from the bronze of the ancient god world. It was ancient and powerful. Lightning flashed and destroyed the Jin family expert's palm. Then, lightning continued to strike the Jin family expert. The third king god realm expert was hit by a lightning bolt. He trembled and retreated. His body was numb and he almost vomited blood. Chapter 3085. Lu Ming had defeated the king god realm expert of the Jin family with a single punch. Yi Xiong was scared to death. Attack! All of you attack together. Let's kill this kid. Yi Xiong shouted. This kid is evil. Let's attack together. The king god realm expert of the Jin family said. Boom! Boom! The king god realm expert of the Winged Men clan and the expert of the Qin family attacked at the same time. 3 king god realm experts attacked at the same time. Their aura was earth-shattering. At first, some people were watching from the sidelines. Now, they kept retreating as they were afraid of being affected. Someone come quickly. At this moment, Yi Xiong shouted to the distance. He didn't know why, but he was still not confident. Lu Ming had brought him too much fear. Even though 3 king god realm experts were protecting him, he still wasn't confident. He knew that there were experts from the 3 aristocratic families guarding the area. There might even be experts stronger than them. These people were used as a precaution. According to the plan, they didn't need to take action. Sending king god realm experts to deal with a heavenly god was already overboard. Sending experts stronger than that would be a joke. But now, Yi Xiong was panicking. He hoped that more experts would come. Void-breaking hand. 7 injuring divine fist. Thunderbolt slash. While Yi Xiong was hollering, the 3 experts struck at the same time. 3 types of unique skills were directed at Lu Ming. Faced with such an attack, not to mention Lu Ming, who was merely a heaven god, even an ordinary second-tier king god would be beaten to a pulp. However, Lu Ming had Xueqi. I'm going to explode. Xueqi shouted. Come. Lu Ming shouted in a low voice and threw a punch. Creak, creak, creak. Terrifying lightning emitted from Xueqi's body. Boundless lightning energy turned into 3 lightning sabers and slashed at the 3 experts. This was Xueqi's ultimate attack. Xueqi had used all of his strength. Boom, boom, boom. After 3 consecutive explosions, a few screams were heard. Then, the 3 figures retreated. 2 of them fell to the ground after retreating. Their bodies were black and they didn't have any aura. They were dead. 2 of them were directly killed by Xueqi. These 2 people were experts from the Jin family and the Qin family respectively. Xueqi had used all of its power, bursting out all of its lightning energy. That kind of lightning was too intimidating. It had killed 2 third king god realm experts in just 1 strike. Only the god king of the Winged Men race managed to survive. The Winged Men race's god king also controlled lightning, so his resistance to lightning was stronger. Although he didn't die, his body was charred black like charcoal. At the same time, he coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. His aura was extremely weak, and he was half dead. This time, Yi Xiong really nearly pissed his pants. His complexion was deathly pale, and his entire body trembled non-stop. Let's see who will save you this time. Lu Ming took a step forward and arrived beside Yi Xiong. His hand reached out and grabbed at Yi Xiong. No! Father, father, save me! Yi Xiong screamed hysterically. Let go of my young master. At this moment, a long shout came from not far away. That shout pierced through the sky, shaking the entire soaring cloud district. Then, a figure rushed over at a terrifying speed. Before that figure arrived, a terrifying aura had already rushed over like a tidal wave. That aura was several times more intimidating than a third king god realm expert. Just as Yi Xiong had shouted, the experts who were guarding the area had indeed arrived. Indeed, there are experts here. But it's too late. There was a cold glint in Lu Ming's eyes. He grabbed with his big hand and a violent force crushed Yi Xiong. Yi Xiong could only let out an indignant scream before he turned into ashes in Lu Ming's big hand. You're courting death. The voice that was charging toward him let out a terrifying roar. A ray of terrifying light, along with the power of thunder, slashed toward Lu Ming, intending to kill him. That person was an expert of the Winged Men clan. When he heard Yi Xiong scream, he immediately rushed over. He didn't expect that he would still be one step too late. Seeing Yi Xiong being killed, he wished he could crush Lu Ming's bones and scatter his ashes. What a terrifying power. He should be a fourth king god realm expert. Lu Ming sensed his opponent's power. He deeply understood that his current strength was far from that of an expert. Xueqi's body moved rapidly. In the end, it turned into a suit of armor, covering Lu Ming's body. Boom! Lu Ming and Xueqi used all of their strength to resist the opponent's attack. After a terrifying explosion, Lu Ming's body was blown away like a cannonball. He flew for hundreds of miles and vomited blood. Cracks appeared on Xueqi's armor. Lu Ming felt like his body was about to split open. His body was covered with hideous wounds. Blood kept flowing out. If Xueqi hadn't protected him, he would have been smashed into pieces. However, even with Xueqi's protection, Xueqi's cultivation base was only at the second king god realm. It could kill a third king god realm expert, but it was still not enough to deal with a fourth king god realm expert. Swish! A skinny old man appeared in the sky in front of them. This old man had a pair of lightning wings on his back. Of course, he was an expert of the Winged Men clan. At this moment, his body was trembling because of his anger. Terrifying murderous aura diffused from his body as he stared at Lu Ming. "You killed my young master." Dang! Dang! The Winged Men clan's elder roared. His figure dashed towards Lu Ming again. However, at this moment, a figure dashed over from behind Lu Ming. His speed was just as fast. Lu Ming only felt a gust of wind before a figure appeared in front of him. The figure threw out a palm strike and exchanged a blow with the Winged Men clan's elder. In the sky, it was like a planet had exploded. Energy spread everywhere. The Winged Men clan's elder was blown back. The figure in front of Lu Ming also took a few steps back. "Wu family's man, you want to protect this kid?" After the Winged Men clan's elder steadied himself, he roared angrily and stared at the figure in front of Lu Ming. The one who had suddenly appeared in front of Lu Ming was the Wu family's expert. "Young Master Lu Ming, I will protect him," the Wu family's expert said resolutely. "Can you protect them all by yourself?" "Not far away," a cold voice sounded. Following that, figures rushed over from all directions. There were at least a dozen of them. They were all middle-aged men or old men. Their auras were thick and terrifying. They were all experts of the fourth king god realm or above. Lu Ming glanced around and found that there were people from the Jin family, the Qin family, and the Winged Men clan among them. Haha, the three big families really think highly of me. To kill me, not only did you use the Winged Men clan as bait, but you also sent so many experts. Lu Ming is really honored. Lu Ming's mocking voice arose. Around them, many onlookers understood what was going on. Chapter 3086. The three families' experts all had ugly expressions. This was especially true for the Winged clan and the Jin clan. They had suffered heavy losses this time. Yi Xiong and Jin Yuan had both died. If we had known this would happen, we would have stayed nearby and killed that brat as soon as he appeared, roared one of the Jin clan's elders. They had only stayed nearby as a precaution. They hadn't thought that things would turn out like this. "Since you want to protect that brat, we'll kill you as well," roared one of the Winged clan's elders. His aura surged, and thunder rumbled. Lu Ming couldn't tell what their cultivation base was. He only felt that they were terrifying. This kind of existence wasn't something he could deal with. They could kill him with a casual wave of their hand. However, Lu Ming had come prepared today. Sure enough, as soon as the Winged clan's elder finished speaking, a voice came from the side. "What arrogance! Let's see who you can kill." Following that, figures flickered and appeared around Lu Ming. They were all the Wu clan's experts. There were more than 10 of them, and each of them was incomparably powerful. In order to help Lu Ming, the Wu clan had also dispatched a large number of experts. They didn't hesitate to go against the three families. Lu Ming was truly grateful for this. The Wu clan's experts erupted with their auras and confronted the three families' experts. "It seems your Wu clan was prepared," said the Winged clan's elder coldly. The Jin clan and Qin clan's people were also incomparably gloomy. Seeing this scene, they still didn't understand that they had been tricked by Lu Ming. They had tricked Lu Ming, but they had been tricked by Lu Ming instead. Clearly, Lu Ming had long since expected danger and had allied with the Wu clan. He had the Wu clan's experts lie in ambush, ready to help at any time. Could it be that your Wu clan wants to start a war with our three families for this brat? Asked one of the Jin clan's elders coldly. His voice was filled with threat. Then let's start a war. My Wu clan isn't afraid of you, replied a large man from the Wu clan. This time, the Wu clan head had personally given the order to protect Lu Ming's life no matter what. How could they be afraid of the other party's threat? Moreover, the Wu clan, the Jin clan, and the Qin clan had always been at odds with each other. How could the Wu family compromise in front of the Jin family and the Qin family? Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. An old man from the winged men race roared. The wings on his back expanded rapidly, and thunder rumbled. With a flap, he charged towards Lu Ming. However, an expert from the Wu family stepped forward and waved his hand. 10,000 horses galloped forward and condensed into huge war horses that charged towards the expert from the Winged Men clan. The two of them clashed and exchanged a few moves, but it was difficult to determine the victor. Kill! Kill! The other experts of the three clans made their moves too, unleashing their cultivation and charging toward Lu Ming. Protect young master Lu Ming. An old man of the Wu family gave the order. Immediately, more than a dozen experts from the Wu family formed a wall, blocking Lu Ming behind them as they fought against the experts of the three clans. Immediately, the entire area boiled over. Terrifying auras filled the air, emitting destructive power. With so many Divine King experts fighting, this kind of power was enough to threaten the safety of a lifestar. However, this was the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence. As everyone fought and their auras reached a certain level, lines of incomparably thick runes appeared on the ground. These runes were incomparably thick, like a divine dragon. They intertwined on the ground, forming a great formation to protect the safety of the planet. In a place like the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence, the entire planet had already been set up with a great formation. Otherwise, with so many experts in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence, a great battle was unavoidable. Without the Great Formation's protection, the entire planet would have been destroyed long ago. With the Great Formation's protection, the power of the battle was completely absorbed by the Great Formation. Both sides fought fiercely, but the experts of the Wu family were wholeheartedly protecting Lu Ming. They did not ask for merit, but only wanted to avoid mistakes. The other party could not kill Lu Ming even if they wanted to. After a few dozen moves, the experts of the three clans retreated, their faces gloomy. Good, very good. Lu Ming killed my winged clan's young master Yi Xiang. Let's see how your Wu family will protect him. Send a message to the patriarch, report this matter to him. A winged clan elder roared. Young master Jin Yuan has been killed. Send a message to the patriarch. A Jin family expert also spoke. Then, the Qin family's experts also sent a message to the Qin family's patriarch. The Wu family's experts' faces changed. This matter was already out of their control. Now, they could only send the news to the Wu family's patriarch. Everyone sent messages to each other, and then confronted each other. Could it be that the various patriarchs are coming? The surrounding onlookers were dumbfounded. They did not expect things to develop to this point. They continued to retreat, increasing the distance between them to avoid being affected. Time passed second by second. Suddenly, an oppressive aura came from the west. When this aura swept over, many people felt that it was difficult to breathe. Before anyone could react, a terrifying pressure surged over from that direction. It was like an ant facing a tsunami that was hundreds of meters high. Rumble. The pressure became stronger and stronger. Some of the weaker cultivators could not help but vomit blood. Everyone looked in that direction in horror. It seemed that there was a terrifying giant beast flying over. Someone is coming. Someone suppressed his fear and whispered. Then, everyone saw a middle-aged man from the winged men walking over from that direction. This person seemed to be walking very slowly, step by step. But with each step, endless distance passed under his feet. In a few breaths, this person appeared in the sky. That incomparably terrifying pressure was being emitted from this person. This subordinate greets the patriarch. When the winged clan's experts saw this middle-aged man, they quickly bowed respectfully. Many people were shocked. This person was actually the patriarch of the Winged Clan. The Winged Clan was a powerful clan in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace. The patriarch of the Winged Clan was definitely an overlord in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace. His strength was unfathomable. Such a person had personally come today. The patriarch of the Winged Clan swept his gaze across the scene. His eyes were incomparably cold. He said, "Isyong has been killed." Although his voice was calm, anyone could tell that it contained a terrifying killing intent. "Yes, yes," an old Winged Clan's expert replied while trembling. "Who killed him?" the patriarch of the Winged Clan asked. "Him, Lu Ming." The old Winged Clan's expert pointed at Lu Ming. "A bunch of trash," the patriarch of the Winged Clan scolded. The experts of the Winged Clan lowered their heads, not daring to breathe. Chapter 3087. The Winged Family's patriarch turned to Lu Ming, his eyes flickering with killing intent. He knew he had miscalculated. He had actually been schemed against by a junior, and his own son had been killed. It could be said that he had given Yi Xiong to Lu Ming to be killed. "Xiong, father will definitely get revenge for you," the Winged Family's patriarch muttered to himself. Then his powerful aura surged toward the Wu family's experts. "All of you scram, and I can spare your lives," shouted the Winged Family's patriarch. "Winged Family's patriarch, my Wu family will protect young Master Lu Ming." One of the Wu family's men clenched his teeth. Although they didn't have the slightest chance of victory against the Winged Family's patriarch, they still had to do what the patriarch had told them to do, even if they had to pay with their lives. "Since you want to protect him, then I'll send you all on your way." The Winged Family's patriarch's voice was incomparably cold, emitting killing intent. "Yi Kwang, what arrogance. Let's see how you'll kill him." At this moment, a cold voice rang out from behind Lu Ming's group. As soon as he finished his words, another person appeared behind Lu Ming and the rest. Lu Ming looked over and saw a large man in embroidered robes. His appearance was a bit similar to Wu Zifeng, but he was even more imposing. "Patriarch!" Seeing this large man, the Wu family's people were delighted and hastily bowed. Lu Ming's heart shook. So this person was the Wu family's patriarch. He was in existence on the same level as the Winged family's patriarch. He was one of the overlords of the 9-extinction Heavenly King Mansion. Junior Lu Ming greets the Wu family's patriarch. Lu Ming also cupped his fists and bowed. "Haha, there's no need to be so courteous." The Wu family's patriarch laughed and waved his sleeve. A surge of energy lifted up Lu Ming. "Wu Hani," the head of the Winged Man clan whispered when he saw the head of the Wu clan. His eyes turned cold. "Yi Kwang, as the patriarch of a family, are you bullying my Wu family because we have no one to fight? Come, if you want to fight, I'll accompany you." The head of the Wu family was very domineering. He took a step forward and appeared in front of Lu Ming and the others, facing the head of the Winged Man family. Boom! Frightening auras burst forth from the two of them. As their auras clashed, the entire sky within a radius of 1,000,000 li began to tremble violently, as though it was about to collapse. In the middle of the clash of their auras, the void was distorted. Strong qi whistled as if it was about to turn into chaos. The surrounding people retreated again and again, their faces filled with fear. How terrifying! Is this the strength of a family head? Too shocking. I've heard that the clan head's cultivation has reached the pinnacle of the God King realm, allowing him to look down on the other God Kings. Now that I've seen it for myself, it seems like the rumors are true. Some of the more powerful God Kings muttered in shock. Peak of the Divine King realm. This was the cultivation of the Winged Clan and Wu Clan's patriarchs. They looked down on all Divine Kings and were incomparably powerful. Such a cultivation was extremely rare even in the entire 9 Absolute Heavenly King Manor. They were the overlords of a region. In the 9 Absolute Heavenly King Mansion, although there were existences above the Divine King realm, those existences were extremely rare and rarely took action. Therefore, if those existences did not take action, the pinnacle of the Divine King realm would be considered as a pinnacle expert. Now, such a figure was going to take action? The auras of the two of them were getting stronger and stronger as they continued to clash in the void. Violent explosions resounded in the sky. Boom! Suddenly, an equally frightening aura surged forth from another direction. That aura mixed with the head of the Winged Man family's aura and pressed down on the head of the Wu family. A terrifying explosion resounded. The head of the Wu family's face changed. His body trembled slightly and involuntarily retreated a few steps. In the distance, a golden light rapidly arrived. With a few flickers, it appeared beside the head of the Winged Man family. That person's entire body was covered in golden light. His aura was terrifying, not the slightest bit inferior to the head of the Winged Man family and the head of the Wu family. Greetings to the head of the family. At the scene, the experts of the Jean family quickly saluted. Everyone's heart shook once again. Another clan head had arrived. Today, there would be a great show to watch. After the head of the Jean family arrived, his gaze swept across the crowd and landed on Lu Ming. His eyes contained shocking killing intent. He had already received news that Jean Yuan had been killed by Lu Ming. Of the four most talented people of the Jean family's younger generation, two of them had actually been killed by Lu Ming. His heart was filled with monstrous fury. Wu Hani, this brat killed many of my Jean family's heavenly geniuses. He even killed Brother Yi's son. He has committed a heinous crime and must be executed, said the head of the Jean family coldly. His voice was filled with killing intent. What if I say no? Asked the head of the Wu family. If you say no, I'm afraid you won't be able to protect him by yourself, said the head of the Jean family. His entire body was like a golden sun. His terrifying aura made it difficult for everyone to breathe. That's right. If you want to protect him, then we can only kill you first. I believe the Heavenly King won't blame us. At this moment, another voice rang out. This voice didn't come from the head of the Winged Man family or the head of the Jean family. It came from another person. Just as he finished speaking, another figure suddenly appeared on the other side. This was also a middle-aged man. He was extremely handsome, and there was a scale between his eyebrows that made him look rather sinister. Greetings, family head. The people of the Qin family immediately bowed. Everyone's hearts shook once again. The head of the Qin family had also arrived. Another peak divine king had arrived. Normally, such people were rarely seen. Many people wanted to greet them, but they didn't expect four of them to come today. Haha, brother Qin, you've also come. The head of the Winged Man family smiled, then looked at the head of the Wu family and said, Wu Hani, let's see how you're going to protect him now. The head of the Wu family frowned, his expression somewhat ugly. He didn't expect that the heads of the three great families would all come. If it was just one of them, he wouldn't be afraid. But if two of them attacked together, he definitely wouldn't be a match. If three attacked together, he would definitely die. At this moment, even if he wanted to protect him, he was powerless. I didn't expect that the heads of the three great families would all come out for a junior. Truly laughable. Sneered the head of the Wu family. The heads of the three great families also had ugly expressions. Today they had appeared, and the three great families would definitely lose face. Since they had already lost face, then they definitely couldn't let Lu Ming go. Wu Hani, I'll give you one more chance. Hand over that brat, or I'll kill you as well. The head of the Winged Man family coldly shouted. His aura became even more oppressive. Lightning covered his entire body, making him look like a god of lightning. The head of the Wu family frowned. The current situation really made it difficult for him to back down. Ha ha ha, I, Lu Ming, am truly honored to trouble three peak divine kings to personally come. Even if I die, it's worth it. At this moment, Lu Ming laughed, then stepped forward and arrived beside the head of the Wu family. Wu family head, many thanks for your good intentions. But today's matter, let this junior deal with it himself. Lu Ming cupped his fists towards the head of the Wu family. Chapter 3088. Why don't you let me deal with it myself? Lu Ming's voice spread across the entire place. Many people were stunned. Wouldn't it be a dead end if they let him deal with it himself? Seems like he knows that he's going to die, so he's going all out. He doesn't want to implicate the Wu family, so he's going to die. Seems like he's quite loyal. Some people discussed. Very well, kid. Kill yourself and I'll leave your corpse intact. The Winged Man family's patriarch said coldly. Unless it was a last resort, he really didn't want to kill a heavenly god junior. It would be a disgrace if word got out. Kill myself? Why should I kill myself? Lu Ming curled his lips slightly and said, Since I came to the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion, I've been secretly ambushed. After coming to the Starry Sky Camp, I've been troubled by the few of you. You're always trying to kill me. I've always been curious as to why you're targeting me and trying to kill me. Now I understand. At this point, Lu Ming paused for a moment and then said loudly, That's because you guys are the masterminds behind the theft of the 9 Ju Divine Crystal. I have evidence of you guys on me. Therefore, you guys are always trying to kill me and snatch the evidence from me. You're not even afraid of being embarrassed. You even took action personally, right? What? There's such a thing? Many people were shocked by Lu Ming's words, and they were shocked. Some people even looked at the people from the three major families with suspicion in their eyes. It was no secret that the 9 extinction divine crystal was stolen by the people from the Qin Tian star field. Only those with brains could guess that there must be a spy in the 9 extinction heavenly king mansion. Otherwise, how could the people from the Qin Tian star field steal the 9 extinction divine crystal? The key point was, who was the spy? They couldn't find a clue. Now that Lu Ming said that, everyone couldn't help but suspect that the spy was really the Jin family, the Qin family, or the Winged Man family. The patriarchs of the 3 major families' faces changed. This was a serious crime. If it was true, even the 3 major families couldn't escape the blame. Little brat, what nonsense are you talking about? The Winged Man family's patriarch shouted, his aura violent. I'll kill you. The head of the Jin family became even more violent. He stepped out and was about to kill Lu Ming. Do you want to kill me and destroy the evidence? Lu Ming shouted. Hearing this, the Jin clan head stopped abruptly. His face was extremely cold, and the murderous intent in his eyes grew stronger. He was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. However, at this moment, he really couldn't kill Lu Ming. Once he killed Lu Ming, wouldn't it confirm Lu Ming's words? Nonsense. Do you know what kind of crime it is to slander us? The head of the Jin family said coldly. Don't you know in your heart whether or not you have slandered me? Lu Ming was not afraid at all. His voice spread throughout the entire arena. This caused the Winged Nation clan's patriarch and Qin clan's patriarch to feel somewhat bewildered. Among them, the head of the Jin family wanted to kill Lu Ming the most. Could it be that what Lu Ming said was true? That the Jin family was really a mole and deliberately dragged them down? The head of the Jin family glanced at the faces of the Winged Nation clan's patriarch and Qin clan's patriarch. How could he not know what they were thinking? The anger in his heart burned even more fiercely. Little brat, you said that you have evidence to prove who was the mole who stole the 9 extinction divine crystal. Well, now take it out. Take out the evidence. The head of the Jin family said loudly and stared at Lu Ming. That's right. Take out the evidence. If you're talking nonsense, I'll make you beg for death. The head of the Winged Nation clan also shouted. Both of them looked as if they had a clear conscience. This made Lu Ming feel somewhat bewildered. Could it be that these families were really not the mole who stole the 9 extinction divine crystal? Or were they just putting up a front? Well, if you want to see it, I'll show it to you. Lu Ming said loudly. His voice spread far and wide. When Lu Ming's voice fell, a rainbow light flashed in the sky. Then, a figure appeared beside Lu Ming. This figure was none other than Blue Merchant. This was something that Lu Ming and Blue Merchant had discussed long ago. When the time was right, Blue Merchant would appear and show the projection to the public. Blue Merchant, it's you. Seeing Blue Merchant, the heads of the Jin family, Winged Nation clan, and Qin clan couldn't help exclaiming. Obviously, they all knew the Blue Merchant. What? Surprised to see me? Blue Merchant said indifferently. Who is this kid to you? Why are you protecting him? The head of the Jin family asked coldly. Blue Merchant used to be Jing Yu's teacher. In the entire Taishu dynasty, he was a high and mighty figure. His status was much higher than the heads of the 3 families. But now, they didn't need to be afraid of Blue Merchant at all. He was just a demoted person. Lu Ming? He's my son-in-law. Can't I? Blue Merchant said indifferently. Ha! Many people were stunned. Lu Ming was Blue Merchant's son-in-law? Lu Ming touched his nose and was speechless. Did this guy really want to sell his daughter to him? He actually said that Lu Ming was his son-in-law in public. However, under such circumstances, Lu Ming couldn't deny it. He could only keep quiet. The evidence you want is in my hands. Then, Blue Merchant added. Many people's eyes fell on Blue Merchant. Did Blue Merchant really have the evidence of the 9 extinction divine crystal being stolen? If so, it was definitely a big deal. Everyone was curious. Then take it out, the head of the Jin family said. His face was calm and there was no unusual expression. Lu Ming and Blue Merchant were a little confused. The other party was so calm. Could it be that they guessed wrongly? Or, was he really putting up a strong front? At this point, there was no way out. It all depended on who could keep their composure. Of course we have to take it out. However, this is a big deal. Before we take out the evidence, I want the Heavenly King Divine Guards to come and be witnesses. Blue Merchant said. Heavenly King Divine Guards. Some people's faces changed. The Heavenly King Divine Guards were a group of guards under the direct command of the 9-extinction Heavenly King. They were all extremely powerful and had great power. They were in charge of enforcing the law. If anyone was found to be the spy who stole the 9-extinction Divine Crystal, the Heavenly King Divine Guards could directly enforce the law and destroy the culprit. Blue Merchant wanted to put pressure on the other party. If the three families really had spies, they would most likely lose their composure and be blackmailed. As the saying goes, those who confess will be lenient. Those who resist will be punished severely. If they confess first, they might be dealt with lightly. That was the human heart. Blue Merchant and Lu Ming's plan was to use strong pressure to blackmail the other party into revealing themselves first. Okay, then let's invite the Heavenly King Divine Guards. The head of the Winged Man family spoke first. I agree too. Then, the head of the Qin family followed. I agree too. Finally, the head of the Jin family nodded. Lu Ming and Blue Merchant looked at each other in confusion. Could it be that they were mistaken? The spy was not one of the three families. Chapter 3089. Alright, let's invite the Heavenly King Divine Guards. Blue Merchant said loudly. Then, the Wu family and the three major families sent people to invite the Heavenly King Divine Guards. Everyone waited quietly. Not long after, there were streaks of rainbow light flying over from afar. As the rainbow light faded, a group of figures appeared in the sky. A few of them were from the three major families and the Wu family. There were more than 10 middle-aged men in purple gold armor. Their auras were as heavy as a mountain. Especially the leader. His aura was violent like a war god. He was extremely terrifying. His aura was as strong as the patriarch's. Obviously, he was also a peak divine king. Commander Wang. Long time no see, Commander Wang. Seeing this person, the Jin family patriarch and others greeted him. Commander Wang nodded and said, You said that there is evidence of the 9-extinction divine crystal being stolen. Where is the evidence? Lan Shang said it. He said he has evidence. The Winged Man family patriarch said. Commander Wang looked at Blue Merchant and was slightly surprised. He said, Blue Merchant, you have evidence? That's right. Lan Shang nodded, and then a simple and unadorned axe appeared in his hand. This is my son-in-law, Lu Ming. He obtained the storage ring of the Dark Knight Demon King in a place called Demon Capital Mountain in Chu Tian Starfield. There is this axe in it. A projection is sealed in this axe. It records how the people of the Qin Tian Star area colluded with the spies of the 9-extinction Heavenly King Mansion through the Dark Knight Devil to steal the 9-extinction Divine Crystal. Blue Merchant said loudly. Then open it and take a look. Commander Wang said. Blue Merchant glanced at the Jin family patriarch, the Winged Man family patriarch and the Qin family patriarch. He found that the three of them were just staring at him with bright eyes. They did not show any fear or uneasiness. Blue Merchant frowned. A thought flashed through his mind. Perhaps, the three families were not the traitors. However, at this time, the projection could only be made public. All right. Blue Merchant nodded and then formed a seal. The axe glowed, and the projection of Lu Ming that he had seen last time appeared again. Everyone stared at it without blinking. Soon, they finished watching the contents of the projection. It's really the people from Qin Tian Starfield who stole the 9-extinction God Crystal. And there really is a spy. However, those spies were all wrapped in black robes, and I couldn't see their faces clearly. Furthermore, they didn't reveal which force they were from. But I finally found the 9-extinction Godly Crystal. After seeing the projection, the scene fell into an uproar. Everyone was discussing animatedly. He, is this your evidence? Although they had found the whereabouts of the 9-extinction God Crystal, who was the spy? I don't know. The head of the Jin family sneered. That's right. This brat dares to slander our three great clans. How audacious. The head of the Winged Person clan shouted coldly. His aura ice cold. Brat, let me tell you. I want to kill you because you killed my Jin family's geniuses. Today you must pay with your life. The head of the Jin family shouted coldly and took a step forward. His violent aura soared to the sky and his killing intent was as cold as a knife. Now, He could finally take action without any scruples. That's right. You killed my son. You must pay with your life. The head of the winged person clan flapped his wings and thunder rumbled like a thunder god. As for the head of the Qin family, his figure flashed and his aura locked onto the head of the Wu family to prevent him from intervening. Ridiculous. The Jin family has targeted me repeatedly and tried to kill me. Can't I resist and kill back? And Yi Xiang in the Starfield ancient city, he targeted my wife and almost killed her. Can't I take revenge? Lu Ming laughed. He was fearless facing the heads of the major clans. I don't care what reason you have. Since you killed my Jin family's people, you must die. The head of the Jin family shouted domineeringly. His body was covered with dazzling golden light. He stretched out a palm and formed a golden palm, grabbing at Lu Ming. The palm was huge and boundless, covering a part of the void with a terrifying aura. Lu Ming realized that he couldn't move his body at all. His body seemed to be sealed and he couldn't even blink his eyes. In the face of a divine king, Lu Ming was too weak, like an ant. Stop! The head of the Wu family shouted and wanted to help. However, the head of the Qin family released his aura and locked onto the head of the Wu family. As long as the head of the Wu family made a move, the head of the Qin family would also release a thunderous attack. The head of the Wu family couldn't make a move at all. That kid called Lu Ming is dead meat. It's a pity that a generation's genius provoked the heads of the three major clans. There's no hope for him. Many people sighed. At the side, Commander Wang and the rest of the Heavenly King Divine Guards had no intention of intervening. The golden palm was about to grab Lu Ming. If it hit, Lu Ming would die no matter how strong he was. The gap between them was too big. However, at this moment, a sword light flashed and slashed at the golden palm. Boom! The sword light slashed on the golden palm and a violent explosion erupted. Then, the sword light and the golden palm collapsed and disappeared. The head of the Jin family narrowed his eyes and looked at the blue merchant. Just now, it was the blue merchant who attacked. You want to kill him? Have you asked for my permission? The blue merchant said indifferently. He took a step forward and landed in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body suddenly relaxed. The pressure that the head of the Jin family exerted on him disappeared without a trace. Huff! Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. He realized that his body was drenched in cold sweat. Facing someone like the head of the Jin family, he was under too much pressure. More importantly, he couldn't resist at all. Blue merchant, you want to intervene? The head of the Jin family said coldly. Of course, he is my son-in-law. Do you think I will watch him be killed? The blue merchant said indifferently. Hee, what can you do if you don't watch? Do you still think you are the blue merchant of the past? The teacher of the rebellious Jingyu? That's all in the past. Back then, your star core was destroyed. What do you have to stop me? The head of the Jin family sneered with slight disdain. What? His star core was destroyed? Lu Ming was shocked. This was the first time he heard of this. It turned out that Blue Merchant's star core was destroyed. After breaking through to the Divine King realm, the divine fire would condense into a star core. The star core was the core of a cultivator. It was no wonder that Blue Merchant, as Jingyu's teacher, was not sealed. Instead, he was allowed to be free. What kind of trouble could a person with a destroyed star core cause? Even if my star core is destroyed, it is enough to deal with people like you. The Blue Merchant smiled faintly, looking very confident. Arrogant. Then let me see what kind of ability you, the person who was called the Imperial Preceptor in the past, have. The head of the Jin family said coldly. He took a step forward and his aura exploded. Chapter 3090. The Jin family head's aura exploded, emitting a dazzling golden light. Then, he slammed his palm toward Blue Merchant. Boom! The void trembled and exploded continuously. The scene was terrifying to the extreme. Peak God King experts really had the power to destroy the heavens and earth, and even a life planet. Once they attacked, it was too terrifying. Facing a person with a crippled star core, he used a terrifying killing move right off the bat. He wanted to thoroughly kill Lan Shang. However, in the face of this attack, Lan Shang's expression was calm. The center of his brows glowed, and a resplendent light gushed out, forming runes. These runes intertwined with each other, forming a battle sword. The battle sword pierced through the air and slashed out, stunning the world. Boom! The battle sword collided with the Jin family head's void-shattering palm, and an earth-shattering explosion erupted. Bas! The battle sword vibrated continuously, and endless sword chi slashed toward the Jin family head. The Jin family head's body shook violently, and he retreated like a meteorite. He retreated a few thousand miles, and his face was ugly. He was repelled by a person with a crippled star core. Soul power. How can your soul be so powerful? The Jin family head shouted angrily. Just now, Blue Merchant did not use divine power, but soul power. However, how could a person's soul power be so powerful? To be able to repel a peak divine king. So what if I don't have divine power to deal with you? Blue Merchant said indifferently. I don't believe it. Void-shattering palm and void-shattering sword. The Jin family head roared, and he used both of his ultimate skills. The golden battle sword pierced through the air, and the golden palm slashed toward Blue Merchant like a heavenly blade. The two types of attacks were aimed at Lan Shang's two vital points. The power of their attacks was shocking. The void-shattering palm and void-shattering sword were both used, but the Jin family head's attacks were 108,000 times stronger than Jin Yuan's. However, Blue Merchant remained calm. His glabella shone, and his soul power surged out, forming runes. Then, it turned into a battle sword, and he slashed out a few times. Clang! Clang! The two of them exchanged a few more blows, but the result was that the Jin family's patriarch was completely suppressed. He kept retreating, and the golden light on his body dimmed. With his hands behind his back, Blue Merchant stepped out, revealing his peerless elegance. Don't all of you want to attack? Then let's attack together. Blue Merchant's voice rang out, and countless runes transformed into a huge palm that grabbed at the winged race's patriarch. He wanted to fight one against two. A person with a crippled star core was going to fight two peak divine kings at the same time. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. The clan leader of the winged clan let out a long howl. With a flap of his wings, thunder rumbled and boundless thunderbolts blasted towards the giant hand formed by the Blue Merchant. But when the palm pressed down, endless lightning was annihilated. The terrifying palm energy sent the winged race's patriarch flying. Dong! Then, Blue Merchant stepped out, and the void trembled crazily. Endless runes condensed into two giant hands. One blasted towards the clan leader of the Jin family, and the other blasted towards the clan leader of the winged race. The leaders of the two clans screamed and used all of their strength to fight back. However, even if the two of them joined forces, they were still no match. They were completely suppressed. After a few moves, the two patriarchs were hit by the giant hand, and their bodies were thrown thousands of miles away. Their bodies trembled, and they vomited blood. They were severely injured. Hiss! Many people at the scene gasped, looking at the figure standing in the void with his hands behind his back. They were filled with shock and disbelief. A person with a crippled star core was able to severely injure two patriarchs with just his soul power. What kind of combat strength was that? If his star core was not crippled, how strong would he be? Everyone seemed to be able to see Blue Merchant's unparalleled glory in the past. Back then, Jingyu had appeared out of nowhere. His talent was unparalleled and rarely seen in the world. At a young age, he rose to power and became the top expert of the Taishu dynasty, suppressing the other princes and even the crown prince. At that time, Jingyu's teacher was also peerless and unparalleled in the world. His strength was unfathomable. At that time, many people thought that Jingyu would become the ruler of the Taishu dynasty in the future and become the sacred emperor of the Taishu dynasty. Therefore, Blue Merchant was called the Imperial Preceptor. Originally, so many years had passed since Lan Shang's planet core had been destroyed. Many people had almost forgotten about this person, thinking that he would fall silent and disappear forever in the long river of history. They never thought that Blue Merchant's soul power would be so terrifying. Lu Ming is under my protection. How are you going to kill him? Blue Merchant stared at the clan leader of the Jin family and said disdainfully, "Damn it!" The clan leader of the Jin family and the clan leader of the winged race roared in their hearts. Both of their families had existences surpassing the God King realm, but there were very few of them. They were all old antiques who had lived for a long time and were in seclusion. If they were to invite such people to deal with a heavenly God realm junior, they would be laughed at. Today, with Blue Merchant here, they really couldn't kill Lu Ming. Commander Wang, this Lu Ming killed many of our Jin family's experts in broad daylight, as well as the winged race and Qin family's experts. Such a lunatic, he must be punished. The clan leader of the Jin family suddenly turned to the commander of the Heavenly Divine Guards and said with cupped fists, "That's right. My son, Yi Xiong, was also killed by this person when he was drinking here. He must pay with his life." The clan leader of the winged race also said. They couldn't deal with Blue Merchant, so they could only ask for help from the Heavenly Divine Guards. The Heavenly Divine Guards were responsible for guarding the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Manor, and this place was also within the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Manor. The Heavenly Divine Guards naturally had the right to intervene. Commander Wang frowned, looked at Lu Ming and said, "Is there such a thing? We tried to kill me many times before, and Yi Xiong almost killed my wife. I'm just taking revenge." Lu Ming said, "Bullshit. It's all nonsense. All of this is nonsense from him. When did my Jin family want to kill him? He's the one who tried to frame us. He even slandered us that we're the spies who stole the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Manor." The clan leader of the Jin family shouted, completely pushing away the matter of wanting to kill Lu Ming. As the head of a family, how could he say such words? How shameless! Lu Ming mocked. The clan leader of the Jin family's face was gloomy and said, "A life for a life. Commander Wang, please enforce the law." As long as the Heavenly Divine Guards intervened, it was useless no matter how strong Blue Merchant was. The Heavenly Divine Guards were full of experts, and there were even existences that surpassed the God King realm. Although Blue Merchant was strong, he had not reached the level of surpassing the God King realm. "If that's the case, Lu Ming, you'll have to come with us." Commander Wang looked at Lu Ming. "Wait." At this moment, the clan leader of the Wu family's voice sounded. "Clan leader of the Wu family, do you have something to say?" Commander Wang said. Chapter 3091. That's right. The Wu family's patriarch stepped out and said, "Although Lu Ming killed several people, don't forget that Lu Ming found the whereabouts of the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal. This is a great contribution. It can't be offset by the lives of several insignificant people. I think not only is Lu Ming not guilty, he should be heavily rewarded." "What? What did you say?" "You're talking nonsense." The Jin family's patriarch, Winged Man family's patriarch, and the others roared, glaring at the Wu family's patriarch. The people Lu Ming killed were the Winged Man family's patriarch's son and one of the Jin family's 4 heroes. In the Wu family's patriarch's words, these people became insignificant passers-by. Preposterous. Commander Wang frowned. The Wu family's patriarch was right. Finding the whereabouts of the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal was indeed a great contribution. He should be heavily rewarded. These are two different things. He found the whereabouts of the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal. He indeed has a contribution, but that doesn't mean he can be lawless, disregarding the law, and kill the innocent. The Jin family's patriarch roared, "Speaking of contributions, everyone here has contributed to the Heavenly King Manor, but can you disregard the law just because you have contributed? Therefore, these are two different things. He should be punished." "That's right, a life for a life. This kid must die." The Winged Man family's patriarch also roared. "Ridiculous, reward and punishment should be clear. Are the people who died more important than the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal? I think it's enough to offset the fault. I should even reward him." The Wu family's patriarch said. Commander Wang's frown deepened. He was in a difficult position. If it was an ordinary matter, he could easily solve it. But now on one side was the Jin family's patriarch, the Winged Man family's patriarch, and on the other side was the Wu family's patriarch and a Blue Merchant with unfathomable strength. This put him in a difficult position. No matter how he judged, he would offend one side. "I can only try my best to balance it out." Commander Wang muttered in his heart, then said loudly, "Lu Ming killed people for no reason. It's a great crime. He should be sentenced to death. But since he found the whereabouts of the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal, his contribution should offset the fault." Lu Ming sneered. Commander Wang's actions showed that he did not offend either side, but in fact, he was still biased towards the Jin family's patriarch and the others. Logically speaking, he discovered the whereabouts of the 9 Absolute Divine Crystal. This was a great contribution. The 9 Absolute Divine Crystal was a precious treasure of the 9 Absolute Heavenly King Manor. How shocking was its value! The Wu family's patriarch was right. To the 9 Absolute Heavenly King Manor, the 9 Absolute Divine Crystal's value was far above Yi Xiong, Jin Yuan, and the rest. This was supposed to be a heavy reward, but the other party had brushed it off with just a few words. However, the Jean family's patriarch and the others obviously didn't want to let it go so easily. No, we can't let him go like this. Wouldn't our Jean family's hero have died in vain? And my son, Yixiang. The heads of the Jean and Winged Man clans shouted. They didn't want to let Lu Ming off just like that. Commander Wang has spoken. What else do you want? Are you questioning the judgment of the Heavenly King Divine Guards? The head of the Wu family said coldly. I'm not questioning Commander Wang's judgment. I'm questioning whether the evidence of him taking out the 9 absolute divine crystal is real or fake. The head of the Jean family said coldly. These words made many people's eyes move. That's right. Whether the evidence that Lu Ming took out was real or fake, it was hard to judge. What if it was fake? Commander Wang's brows furrowed again. If he really wants to make up for his mistakes, that's fine. Unless he brings back the real 9 absolute divine crystal. How about this? I'll give him a chance. Since he found the whereabouts of the 9 absolute divine crystal, then bring it back and let him complete it himself. The head of the Winged Man clan said. His gaze swept around and said, Remember, I'm saying let him do it himself. None of you are allowed to help him or send anyone to help him. Let him complete it himself. This way he can make up for his mistakes. Brother Yi's suggestion is good. I agree. I agree too. The heads of the Jean and Qin families spoke one after another. It would be dangerous for Lu Ming to take back the 9 absolute divine crystal by himself. Moreover, they had too many tricks up their sleeves. They could easily make Lu Ming die without a burial ground. No, I object. Isn't it a joke to let a heavenly god take back the 9 absolute divine crystal? The head of the Wu family said. If not, how can he make up for his mistakes? The head of the Jean family did not back down. You. The head of the Wu family glared at the head of the Jean family. I agree. At this moment, Lu Ming's voice was heard. Many people could not help but look at Lu Ming. Lu Ming agreed? All right. Wu Hani. This kid has agreed. What else do you have to say? The head of the Jean family said. The head of the Wu family glanced at Lu Ming and shook his head in the end. Since Lu Ming had agreed, what else could he say? Blue Merchant's eyes flashed, but he did not stop him. Remember, you're on your own. Blue Merchant can't help you. The Wu family can't send anyone to help you. Do you understand? The head of the Jean family said. Of course. Lu Ming said. Very well, then we'll wait for your good news. If you can't take back the 9 absolute divine crystal, you'll pay with your life. The head of the Jean family said. That's right. It's settled then. In the end, Commander Wang made the decision. Humph. Let's go. The family head of the Jean family, the family head of the Winged Man family, the family head of the Qin family, and the rest cast a cold glance at Lu Ming. They then led the experts of the 3 aristocratic families and turned to leave, disappearing in the blink of an eye. The storm was over. Then, Commander Wang left with his men. Lu Ming, you were too impulsive when you agreed just now. Blue Merchant sighed. What else can I do if I don't agree just now? Lu Ming smiled. The Dark Ice tribe shouldn't be weak. Are you confident? Blue Merchant asked. Although you can't help me, you didn't say that I can't borrow other forces. I can still borrow the forces of the Qin Tian Starfield. I should be able to deal with the Dark Ice tribe. Lu Ming said. I'm afraid that the Jean family, the Winged Man family, and the Qin family will secretly attack you. Blue Merchant said. Don't worry about that. During this time, I'll send people to keep an eye on the experts above the Divine King realm. The head of the Wu family said. However, they'll obviously send people to keep an eye on us. So, you'll have to rely on yourself. The head of the Wu family said. Well, thank you for your help this time. I'm very grateful. Lu Ming cupped his fists to express his gratitude. Haha, you're friends with Zifeng. That means you're a friend of the Wu family. How can I just sit by and do nothing? The head of the Wu family smiled. Then, both parties bade farewell and the head of the Wu family returned to the Wu family. Lu Ming and the Blue Merchant returned to the Starry Camp. Lu Ming, I have a feeling that your trip won't be peaceful. Take this treasure. In the courtyard of the Blue Merchant said. Then, he waved his hand and a small pagoda flew out. Chapter 3092. This is Lu Ming stared at the small pagoda floating in front of him with a puzzled expression. This is the King Pagoda. It can greatly affect the star core of a god king. I refined it personally. Take it, it might be useful. Blue Merchant said. King Pagoda. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Lu Ming had seen this type of treasure in the Demon Capital Mountain before. During the battle in the Demon Capital Mountain, some young geniuses had used similar treasures to besiege the Dark Knight Demon King. This type of treasure could affect the star core of a god king, making it unstable and reducing the opponent's strength. That was how the Dark Knight Demon King had been killed. Of course, this King Pagoda can affect god kings in the 4th or 5th layer at most. The higher the cultivation, the smaller the effect. You have to use it wisely. Blue Merchant warned. Lu Ming nodded and kept it happily. If he used this King Pagoda well, he could turn the tables at a critical moment. Then, he chatted with Blue Merchant for a while before leaving. When he left, he saw Lon Ling was still the same as before. She snorted and ignored Lu Ming. Lu Ming was happy to be free. He returned to his residence and bade farewell to Autumn Moon. Lu Ming had no intention of bringing Autumn Moon back to Qin Tian Starfield. Autumn Moon's cultivation had just improved and she needed time to cultivate in seclusion. Moreover, Lu Ming felt that this trip would not be peaceful. It was better for him to travel alone. However, Autumn Moon also wanted to go back with Lu Ming. In the end, Lu Ming shook his head firmly. Only then did Autumn Moon give up. After bidding farewell to Autumn Moon, Lu Ming stepped on the transportation formation back to Qin Tian Starfield. After a long journey, Lu Ming finally returned to Qin Tian Starfield. He stepped out of the transportation formation in Myriad Spirit Star. Qin Tian Starfield. I'm finally back. Lu Ming took a deep breath and smiled. Now that he had returned to the domain of Qin Tian, he was not only going to wipe out the Dark Iceman and take back the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal, but he was also going to settle some old scores. Let's go back to Kongxian School first. Lu Ming's heart stirred. Then, he continued to take the teleportation portal and headed towards the Kongxian School. Teleported to a planet not far away from the Xiankong planet, then Lu Ming soared into the sky, crossed the void and rushed towards the Xiankong planet. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, it was a piece of cake for him to traverse the universe with his physical body. Now, the speed at which he traversed the starry skies with his corporeal body was even faster than many starry sky battleships. Just like Lu Ming's starry sky battleship, it wasn't even as fast as his corporeal body. Like a phantom, he flew through the universe. In front of him, a planet slowly grew bigger. That was the Kongxian planet. Hoo. Just then, a meteorite came crashing towards Lu Ming. This meteorite had a diameter of 1,000 miles. It had been floating in the starry skies before, but it suddenly came crashing towards Lu Ming. Sneak attack. Lu Ming squinted his eyes slightly, then threw a punch at the meteorite. Roar. A 9-clawed dragon rushed out with a roar. It was 10,000 meters long and its body was winding. It rushed towards the meteorite and collided with it heavily. Boom. With an earth-shattering roar, the meteorite exploded into small pieces of gravel and flew in all directions. Lu Ming could easily smash a meteorite with a diameter of 1,000 miles. Who is it? Lu Ming shouted coldly and looked around. Heh, Lu Ming, I haven't seen you for a while, but your cultivation has improved a lot. A sneer was heard. An old man appeared at the place where the meteorite had exploded. The elder looked at Lu Ming with a cold and sinister expression. Yuan Xiao, it's you. Murderous intent flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. This old man was none other than the inner elder of the Kongxian School, Yuan Xiao. His disciple, Ying Cong, had been killed by Lu Ming. The great Sky Saint, who was supported by Yuan Xiao, had also been killed by Lu Ming. After Lu Ming killed the great Sky Saint, Yuan Xiao sided with the Zhizun Saint. Later on, the head of the Zhizun family betrayed the Kongxian School and was killed by Lu Ming. However, during that battle, Yuan Xiao had some matters to attend to and was lucky to escape. After knowing that the head of the Zhizun family had been killed, he didn't dare to return to the Kongxian School. However, his hatred for Lu Ming was monstrous. All these years, he had been wandering around the Kongxian planet, waiting for Lu Ming to be alone so that he could kill Lu Ming to vent his hatred. However, he had already arrived at the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence. Yuan Xiao had waited for so many years. The heavens didn't disappoint those who waited. Finally, he met Lu Ming, who was alone. He attacked without hesitation. The meteorite just now was pushed over by Yuan Xiu. He, Lu Ming, today is the day you die. Yuan Xiu sneered, his murderous intent incomparably cold. You want to kill me with just you? Lu Ming said indifferently with a trace of disdain. When Lu Ming had just entered the Kongxian school, Yuan Xiu was indeed high and unreachable to him. He could kill Yuan Xiu with a flip of his hand. However, all these were in the past. Lu Ming had grown rapidly. A peak heavenly god like Yuan Xiu was nothing in his eyes. Lu Ming, if it wasn't for someone helping you, I would have killed you with a flip of my hand. Yuan Xiu shouted coldly. The aura on his body was released completely. A strong pressure pervaded between heaven and earth. Half-step divine king. Lu Ming said in a low voice. Ha, not bad. Half-step divine king, it's all thanks to you. Under such great pressure, I broke through and stepped into the half-step divine king realm. No matter how talented you are, you're nothing in my eyes. Yuan Xiu laughed arrogantly. In his heart, no matter how talented and monstrous Lu Ming was, how many years had it been? Lu Ming was definitely not his opponent. After killing Lu Ming, he would find a place to cultivate diligently. Perhaps he could break through to the divine king realm and become an expert in Qin Tian Starfield, living a carefree life. Oh, since you're so confident, I'll give you a chance. Come, attack me with your strongest attack. I'll let you die in peace. Lu Ming said indifferently. Brat, what tricks are you playing? Lu Ming's calmness and confidence made Yuan Xiu's eyes slightly narrowed. He was a little bewildered and looked around, afraid that there was someone else around. Don't worry, it's just me. There's no one else. Lu Ming said indifferently. Humph, brat, I don't care what tricks you're playing. In the face of absolute power, everything is useless. Dang! Yuan Xiu roared and threw a punch. A punch was like a light pillar, blasting towards Lu Ming at an extremely fast speed. It was about to drown Lu Ming. Roar! A dragon's roar was heard. A 9-clawed dragon was formed. It roared towards the sky and pounced on Yuan Xiu's punch. The 9-clawed dragon's aura was violent. It was several times stronger than Lu Ming's aura when he smashed the meteorite. Boom! When the 9-clawed divine dragon collided with the elementalist's fist force, it immediately dispersed the elementalist's fist force. However, the 9-clawed divine dragon was completely unharmed. Chapter 3093. Lu Ming condensed a 9-clawed dragon and easily defeated the elementalist's attack. The 9-clawed dragon was completely unharmed. Your cultivation? How is this possible? The elementalist's eyes widened as he shouted in disbelief. This outcome was completely different from what he had imagined. In his imagination, this move was enough to crush Lu Ming and crush Lu Ming into smithereens. But in the end, this move was easily broken by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body emitted a terrifying aura. He found it hard to believe that Lu Ming's strength had reached such a level in such a short period of time. What? Is this all you've got? Now it's my turn. Lu Ming said coldly, his voice filled with killing intent. In his opinion, the elementalist's strength was too weak to withstand a single blow. Although the elementalist had reached the level of a half-step divine king, the divine power he controlled was very ordinary. It was only at the level of a king-grade divine power. His strength was far from that of a half-step divine king in the starry camp, let alone Lu Ming. Run. At this moment, there was only one word in the elementalist's mind, and that was to run. He retreated rapidly and dashed in another direction. But Lu Ming's figure flashed and appeared in front of him, blocking his path. Ah! The elementalist screamed in terror. His old face was contorted into a ball, filled with fear. Lu Ming, spare my life. The elementalist begged for mercy. Kill! But what answered him was Lu Ming's one word, which was filled with killing intent. Roar! A 9-clawed dragon roared and pounced towards the elementalist. It grabbed the elementalist with its claws and tore him apart, killing him amidst the elementalist's terrified screams. Back then, Elementalist had managed to avoid a calamity. If not for his appearance, Lu Ming would have almost forgotten about him. However, Elementalist had jumped out to seek his own death. This was exactly what Lu Ming wanted. After killing the Elementalist, Lu Ming felt much more relaxed and continued flying towards Kongxian School. Not long after, he saw a few streaks of light flying over from the mysterious void star.
It's them.
Lu Ming smiled. A few elders had come. One of them was Yu Xian's father, Yu Wuya. The other two were also veterans of Kongxian School. Evidently, they had sensed the battle earlier, and hurriedly rushed over.
Holy Son Lu Ming.
Greetings. Holy Son Lu Ming. When Yu Wuya and the others saw Lu Ming, they were slightly taken aback and hurriedly saluted him. Elders, I trust you have been well since we last met.
Lu Ming smiled.
Holy Son Lu Ming, we sensed the fluctuations of a great battle just now. Did you notice it?
Yu Wuya asked.
It was Elementalist just now. He wanted to kill me.
Lu Ming smiled.
Elementalist. Yu Wuya and the others' expressions changed. Holy Son, are you all right? Where is Elementalist? Even though they saw that Lu Ming was fine, they still looked worried. Elementalist was an inner elder of Kongxian School and a peak heavenly god. I'm fine. Elementalist has been killed by me. Lu Ming said casually.
What?
Killed? Yu Wuya and the others were stunned. Then, they scanned Lu Ming's surroundings to see if Lu Ming had any helpers. They found it hard to believe that Elementalist was killed by Lu Ming. Let's go back to Kongxian School. I have something to tell you, Lu Ming said. Then, he flew towards Kongxian School.
Yu Wuya and the others could only suppress their doubts.
There are probably other experts following the Holy Sun. They just don't want to show themselves. Yu Wuya and the others thought. They still didn't believe that Lu Ming could kill Elementalist. Not long after, Lu Ming and the others returned to Kongxian School and immediately gathered the upper echelons of Kongxian School. Even though Lu Ming was just a holy son of Kongxian School, his influence was comparable to that of a schoolmaster. This was because everyone knew that there was a terrifying nether dragon behind Lu Ming. After the upper echelons of Kongxian School gathered, Lu Ming told them about the 9 Extinction God Crystal.
What?
The 9 Extinction God Crystal was stolen by the Dark Ice Race. That despicable Dark Ice Race. Qin Tian Star Zone was almost destroyed. After hearing Lu Ming's words, everyone started discussing. Everyone, I came back this time to destroy the Dark Ice Race, take back the 9 Extinction God Crystal, and ensure the safety of Qin Tian Star Zone. Therefore, I need the cooperation of the Kongxian School.
Lu Ming said.
Don't worry, Holy Son. The Kongxian School will do our best. Yu Wuya was the first to speak. We will do our best to cooperate. The other elders also spoke. As for Ouyang Qingxiang and the others, they naturally wouldn't object. That's good. You can start gathering people during this time.
Lu Ming nodded.
Holy Son Lu Ming, the Dark Ice Race was a big race that competed with the Ice Soul Race for supremacy. They are extremely powerful. I'm afraid that the Kongxian School alone won't be a match for them.
Yu Wuya said.
Don't worry. I'll make a trip to the Ice Soul Race later. I believe that they will be very willing to cooperate.
Lu Ming said.
That's good. Yu Wuya and the others nodded. After that, the senior elders left one after another to make preparations. After leaving, they went to a place in the Kongxian School, the Nether Dragon's secret realm. The Bone Demon had taken over the Nether Dragon's body and had been cultivating in the Nether Dragon's secret realm to recover the Nether Dragon's strength. After such a long time, he didn't know how much strength the Nether Dragon had recovered. This time, he might need the Bone Demon's help. With familiarity, Lu Ming entered the Nether Dragon's secret realm and flew toward the Bone Demon's place of seclusion. Not long after, Lu Ming saw a huge Nether Dragon lying on the ground like a mountain range. Its body emitted a dim light.
Lu Ming, you're here.
When Lu Ming arrived, the Nether Dragon's huge body moved. Its huge eyes looked at Lu Ming. Senior Bone Demon, how's the recovery of this Nether Dragon's strength? Lu Ming asked. Hee, you can feel it. The Bone Demon chuckled. Then, a huge dragon aura was emitted from the Nether Dragon's body. This dragon aura was so strong that it shook the heavens and earth. The entire Nether Dragon's secret realm shook violently. Terrifying. Extremely terrifying. It made Lu Ming feel like he was facing peak Divine King experts like the Jin family and the Winged Man family. This is peak Divine King? Lu Ming said with a trembling voice. Io, kid, you're quite knowledgeable. Not bad. This Nether Dragon's divine power has been restored to peak Divine King. The Bone Demon chuckled, full of pride.
Amazing, amazing.
Lu Ming was overjoyed. Lu Ming did not expect that Bone Demon had already restored the Nether Dragon's abilities to the peak of the God King realm.
With such abilities, not to mention the Qin Tian Star Sector, even in the Ninju Heavenly King Mansion, he would be an overlord.
As long as an existence above Divine King did not appear, it would be invincible. It's a pity that this Nether Dragon has been suppressed for so many years.
Its origin has been greatly exhausted.
Even if I use all my means, it can only recover to this extent. Could it be that it has surpassed Divine King? The Bone Demon sighed. Chapter 3094. After all, the Nether Dragon had been suppressed for many years. Even with Bone Demon's means, recovering to the peak Divine King realm was his limit. It's okay to use it for now. It's not very useful. I'll have to change it in the future. Bone Demon muttered. However, Lu Ming was already very satisfied. With Bone Demon's current strength and his help, Lu Ming could do many things with ease. Senior Bone Demon, I'm here to ask for your help. Lu Ming then told Bone Demon about the Dark Ice Tribe and the 9-Ju Sacred Crystal. Sure. Just let me know when you're ready to set off. Bone Demon said. Okay. Lu Ming nodded. Logically speaking, Bone Demon was not needed to deal with the Dark Ice Tribe this time. However, Lu Ming felt that it would not be so simple this time. He wanted Bone Demon to follow him as a precaution. Lu Ming bade farewell and headed toward the Ice Soul clan. After arriving at the Ice Spirit clan, Lu Ming was immediately received by the tribe leader. How is it, Lu Ming? Is there any news about the 9-Ju Sacred Crystal? The tribe leader could not wait to ask as soon as he saw Xueqi. Lu Ming nodded and said, the 9-Ju Sacred Crystal is indeed with the Dark Ice Tribe. It's true. I guessed it right.
The tribe leader's eyes lit up.
However, I ran into some trouble in the 9-Ju Heavenly King Mansion. This time, the 9-Ju Heavenly King Mansion will not send anyone to help us. They want us to deal with the Dark Ice Tribe by ourselves, take back the 9-Ju Sacred Crystal, and hand it over to the 9-Ju Heavenly King Mansion. Lu Ming briefly explained what had happened in the 9-Ju Heavenly King Mansion. Of course, Lu Ming skipped over some things that should not be said. I see. The tribe leader nodded and said, we will do our best to deal with the Dark Ice Tribe, but, the patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan pondered for a moment. But what? Lu Ming asked. I've been keeping an eye on the Dark Ice Tribe all these years. The Dark Ice Tribe is hiding in a secret place in the Qin Tian Star area. They've built that area into an impregnable fortress. Plus, the Dark Ice Tribe is very powerful. I'm afraid it'll be difficult for the Ice Soul Tribe and the Kongxian School to destroy the Dark Ice Tribe alone. Even if we can, we'll suffer great losses. The chief of the Ice Spirit clan said worriedly. It wasn't that he didn't know where the Dark Ice Race was hiding. On the contrary, he knew where the Dark Ice Race was hiding. But why hadn't the Ice Soul clan attacked the Dark Ice clan and exterminated the Dark Ice clan for so many years? It was because they weren't strong enough. The Dark Ice Race had set up many great formations in their hiding place. They also had many experts. Even if the Ice Soul Race was stronger as a whole, they would lose a lot of strength if they wanted to destroy the Dark Ice Race. This gave the Red Flame Race an opportunity. That was why the Ice Soul Race hadn't attacked the Dark Ice Race yet. Now, the chief of the Ice Soul Race was also worried about the same thing. Don't worry. This matter concerns the safety of the Qin Tian Star Zone. The other forces can't stay out of it. The Red Flame Race, the 3 overlords, and the other forces have to send people to fight. Lu Ming said. It's not that easy to get them to send people to fight. The chief of the Ice Soul Race sighed. Send someone to inform them first. If they don't send people to fight, we'll think about it later. Lu Ming said. The chief of the Ice Soul Race nodded. This was the only way. Immediately, the chief of the Ice Soul Race sent messengers to the other forces to inform them to send experts to fight. They wanted to exterminate the Dark Ice Race and take back the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal to protect the safety of the Qin Tian Star Zone. Lu Ming waited in the Ice Soul Race's headquarters. At this moment, the various forces were welcoming uninvited guests. In a hall of the Invincible Kenzo, the Invincible Kenzo sect master led the experts of the Invincible Kenzo to welcome a young man. The young man wore a golden robe and stood in the hall with his hands behind his back. He had a proud look on his face. He was only a heavenly god, but he looked as if he didn't care about the supreme beings of the Invincible Kenzo sect master. If Lu Ming was here,
he would be able to tell that the young man was from the Jin clan of the Nine Extinction Heavenly King Mansion. Greetings, envoy of the Nine Extinction Heavenly King Mansion. The invincible Kenzo sect master and the others bowed respectfully to the young man from the Jin clan. No need to be so polite. The young man from the Jin clan waved his hand and said, "Let's get straight to the point. I'm here for the Nine Extinction Divine Crystal." Envoy, didn't you say that the Nine Extinction Divine Crystal will be given 1,000 years later? It's not time yet. The faces of the invincible Kenzo sect master and the others changed. Let me finish first. The young man from the Jin clan's face darkened. The invincible Kenzo sect master and the others did not dare to make a sound. There's a man called Lu Ming from the Qin Tian Starfield, who came to the Nine Extinction Heavenly King Mansion to investigate the Nine Extinction Divine Crystal, the young man from the Jin clan said. Lu Ming. The faces of the invincible Kenzo sect master and the others changed again when they heard that. Killing intent flashed in their eyes. Lu Ming found out about the whereabouts of the Nine Extinction Divine Crystal. The Nine Extinction Divine Crystal is in the hands of a tribe called the Dark Ice Tribe in the Qin Tian Starfield. The young man from the Jin clan continued. The faces of the invincible Kenzo sect master and the others changed again. They were surprised. They did not expect the Nine Extinction Divine Crystal to be in the hands of the Dark Ice Tribe. However, this Lu Ming is audacious and has no regard for the law. He has offended a big shot in the Nine Extinction Heavenly King Mansion. Therefore, the Nine Extinction Heavenly King Mansion sent Lu Ming back to take back the Nine Extinction Divine Crystal. However, the Nine Extinction Heavenly King Mansion will not send anyone to help him. However, I reckon that Lu Ming will ask the local forces of the Qin Tian Starfield to help him take back the Nine Extinction Divine Crystal. The young man from the Jin clan said. After hearing that, the faces of the invincible Kenzo sect master and the others changed again. After a while, the invincible Kenzo sect master said, "Don't worry, I know what to do." The invincible Kenzo sect master will not send anyone to help Lu Ming and prevent him from completing the task. He thought that the young man from the Jin clan had come to warn him not to send anyone to help Lu Ming. This was exactly what he wanted. He did not want to send anyone to help Lu Ming anyway. No, no, no. The young man from the Jin clan shook his head and said, "What I mean is, not only must you send someone, but you must also send all your experts." What? The invincible Kenzo sect master and the others were confused. Could it be that the messenger was here to help Lu Ming? However, the young man from the Jin clan changed his tone and his eyes flashed. He said, "You must send all your experts. When you take back the Nine Extinction Divine Crystal, you must find a chance to kill Lu Ming. Do you understand?" The invincible Kenzo sect master and the others were shocked. They finally understood what the young man from the Jin clan meant. The young man meant for them to pretend to cooperate and find a chance to kill Lu Ming. The young man's real goal was to kill Lu Ming. Understood. Don't worry, messenger. We will do our best to kill Lu Ming. The invincible Kenzo sect master bowed and replied, a cold light flashing in his eyes.
Chapter 3095. Killing Lu Ming was exactly what the patriarch of the invincible Kenzo wanted. He had been thinking about killing Lu Ming all the time. This was great news for him. Of course, he agreed without hesitation. This time, not only you, but all the forces in the Qin Tian Star area that have a grudge against Lu Ming will participate. When the time comes, Lu Ming will die. The young man from the Jin family said, his eyes flashing with cold light. This time, the Jin family, the Winged Man family, and the Qin family had sent many young men to the Qin Tian Star area. They knew that the Wu family would keep an eye on the experts of those families. Sending experts to the Qin Tian Star area to kill Lu Ming was inconvenient. After all, they had to go through the teleportation formation. However, the Wu family could not keep an eye on the young men below the Divine King realm. There were too many young men from those families. Moreover, those young men often traveled outside to temper themselves. It was too easy for them to go anywhere they wanted. Therefore, the families had sent some young men to the Qin Tian Star area to communicate with the forces that had a grudge against Lu Ming. They wanted to kill Lu Ming secretly. How could they let Lu Ming get the Nine Extinction Divine Crystal so easily? They could not let him go back alive. This was the reason why the patriarch of the Jin family and the others had taken a step back. With so many forces joining hands, Lu Ming will die. The patriarch of the invincible Kenzo said. Yes, of course he has to die. Also, this time, my Jin clan has brought you a reward. Then, a jade bottle appeared in the young man's hand. This is. The patriarch of the invincible Kenzo was puzzled. There is a king breakthrough pellet in here. Your cultivation base is in the third king god realm, right? After you take it, your cultivation base will reach the fourth king god realm in a short time. The young man from the Jin family said. What? My cultivation base will reach the fourth king god realm? The patriarch of the invincible Kenzo exclaimed. His eyes were burning with passion as he stared at the jade bottle in the young man's hand. If it were not for the young man's identity, he would have snatched it away. Breaking through to the fourth king god realm. He almost jumped up, his face flushed red with excitement. It was too difficult to break through the divine king realm. He had cultivated for countless years and used countless treasures to reach the third sky of king god realm. However, this was already his limit. He understood that it was very likely that he would stop here in this lifetime. However, the king-breaking pellet from the young man of the Jin family could help him break through to the fourth king god layer. How could he not be excited? In the Qin Tian Star area, only the Ice Soul clan and the Flaming Flame clan had the fourth sky of king god realm. They were the two strongest clans in the Qin Tian Star area. If he were to break through to the fourth stage of the Tao God King realm, he would immediately become an invincible existence in the Qin Tian Star field. His heart was already beating violently. A trace of disdain appeared on the corner of the young man's mouth. In the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion, not many people would use the King Breakthrough Pill. Indeed, the King Breaking Pill could allow one to break through a cultivation level in a short period of time. However, there was a huge drawback to it, and that was that after breaking through, one could forget about breaking through again. Sacrificing the future in exchange for a breakthrough in the present, which genius would do such a thing? However, it was suitable for people like the patriarch of the invincible Kenzo. The Jin family and the Winged Man clan were well aware of Lu Ming's strength. Lu Ming had a metallic life form that could kill a third king god layer existence. If the patriarch of the invincible Kenzo and the others went to kill Lu Ming, they would definitely not be able to do so. However, if they could break through to the fourth king god layer, they would have a great chance of killing Lu Ming. Take it. Hurry up and break through. The young man of the Jin family handed the jade bottle to the patriarch of the invincible Kenzo. The patriarch of the invincible Kenzo trembled as he received the bottle, and then thanked him profusely. The other senior members of the invincible Kenzo looked incomparably envious. The young man of the Jin family sneered inwardly. He naturally didn't tell the invincible Kenzo about Lu Ming's true strength. If he told them, they would be fearful. When the time came, they wouldn't be as decisive. As for whether these people would be killed by Lu Ming, he couldn't be bothered. In his eyes, these people were trash. If they died, they died. What did it have to do with him? As long as he could kill Lu Ming. If you do well this time, the Jin family won't mistreat you. The young man of the Jin family made an empty promise, then left the invincible Kenzo. At the same time, young men from the immeasurable sacred ground, the Mystic Academy, and the Flaming Tribe arrived. Moreover, they were all given King Breakthrough pills to help them break through. They only had one goal, and that was to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming naturally didn't know about this. He waited quietly in the Ice Soul clan's residence. Before long, the people the Ice Soul clan's patriarch had sent to the various factions responded. They agreed? And they said they would do their best? Lu Ming was slightly taken aback when he heard this. That's right. Whether it's the Flaming Tribe or the invincible Kenzo, they agreed to send people to kill the Dark Ice Soul clan and take back the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal. The reason they gave was for the safety of the Qin Tian Star Zone. That's strange. I thought they wouldn't agree so readily. The Ice Soul clan's patriarch frowned, full of doubts. Who cares what tricks they're playing? We'll deal with it when the time comes. Perhaps they really do care about the safety of the Qin Tian Star Zone. If they don't take back the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal, they'll die in 1,000 years. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming naturally didn't believe that the other party would agree so readily. He guessed that there must be something fishy going on. However, he had the Bone Demon. What was he afraid of? I hope so. I'll start gathering the experts and head to the Myriad Spirit Star. The Ice Soul clan's patriarch said. Lu Ming nodded, then left the Ice Soul clan and returned to the Kongxian school. A month later, the experts of the Qin Tian 13 sects, the Flaming Tribe, and the Ice Soul clan gathered at the Myriad Spirit Star.
The Ice Soul Clan is familiar with the territory of the Dark Ice Soul Clan. This time, you lead the way. The Flaming Tribe's Patriarch said to the Ice Soul Clan's Patriarch. The Ice Soul Clan's Patriarch nodded. Then the experts set off. They took the teleportation formation to an area not far from the Ice Soul Clan. Then, they took the interstellar battleships and rushed to the hiding place of the Dark Ice Soul Clan. The interstellar battleships cut across the starry sky, dazzling and eye-catching. Soon, a galaxy appeared in front of them. From afar, this galaxy looked extremely strange. The light of the star in this galaxy was very dim, as if it was about to be extinguished. However, some of the planets around the star were snow-white. From afar, they looked like white pearls. Even though there was a great distance between them, they could still feel a terrifying chill permeating the air. This is where the Dark Ice Soul Clan is hiding. The entire galaxy has been set up by the Dark Ice Soul Clan. It won't be easy to break in. We'll need to work together. The Ice Soul Clan's Patriarch said. Then what are we waiting for? Let's kill. The Flaming Tribe's Patriarch said. Okay, let's break the formation first, then kill our way in. The Ice Soul Clan's Patriarch nodded. Chapter 3096. After reaching an agreement, they left the cosmic battleship and crossed the starry sky with their physical bodies, rushing toward the galaxy where the Dark Ice Tribe lived. In the starry sky, they rushed forward like shooting stars. This time, the weakest among those who came to attack the Dark Ice Tribe was a heavenly god. They had no problem crossing the starry sky. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! Activate the formation. As soon as they appeared, they were discovered by the people of the Dark Ice Tribe. They shouted loudly. Suddenly, runes appeared on those snow-white planets. These runes intertwined again and formed a huge formation. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Then, endless sword lights rushed out from those planets. Each of the battle swords was extremely huge. They were completely made of ice and were tens of thousands of miles long. They were extremely powerful. Humph! You want to stop us with a formation? Destroy them! The leader of the Flaming Tribe shouted coldly. His body was as dazzling as the sun. With a slap, dozens of ice swords exploded. At the same time, the leader of the invincible Kenzo and the others also attacked. Sword lights rushed into the sky and destroyed those ice swords. They naturally had to attack now to lower Lu Ming's guard. However, they did not use their full strength. Bam! Bam! The ice swords formed by the Dark Ice Tribe's formation kept exploding. In the face of so many experts from the Qin Tian galaxy, the Dark Ice Tribe's formation was not strong enough. Soon they rushed into the galaxy. Boom! Boom! The 13 sects of Qin Tian, the Flaming Tribe, and the Ice Soul Tribe had so many divine kings. With so many divine kings attacking together, the power was earth-shattering. Rays of divine light blasted toward those planets. Boom! 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 Those planets seemed to have experienced a magnitude of tens of earthquakes. Every ray of divine light blasted a large part of the planet. Mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. It was a true landslide. When a divine king attacked with his full strength, he could really destroy a planet. Moreover, there were so many divine kings. It was devastating. The earth collapsed and the entire planet kept exploding. The formation engraved on the planet was naturally destroyed. There were screams coming from those planets. Those were the people of the Dark Ice Tribe. Under the attack of the divine kings, those people of the Dark Ice Tribe exploded and their bodies and souls were destroyed. How dare the Dark Ice Clan steal the treasures of the 9 extinction Heavenly King Mansion? Kill without mercy. Cold voices sounded out as everyone broke through the barriers. The outermost planets of the star system were quickly broken through. Everyone charged into the depths of the galaxy. There was a huge planet closest to the star. That was the core of the Dark Ice race. Very quickly, all the planets in the periphery were broken through by them. They directly killed their way to the core planet. That is the core base of the Dark Ice race. Kill! The Patriarch of the Ice Soul Clan pointed at the vast glacier in front of them and shouted. In front of them was a vast expanse of glaciers. As far as the eye could see, glaciers that were tens of thousands of meters tall could be seen everywhere, and they occupied a vast and boundless area. This was the real core of the Dark Ice Tribe. Many of the Dark Ice Tribe's experts lived here. The chieftain of the Ice Soul Clan led a large number of experts of the Ice Soul Clan to attack the glacier. Lu Ming and the experts from Kongxian School also rushed inside. Boom! Boom! At this moment, powerful auras burst out from the endless glacier. Some of them had even reached the Divine King realm. The experts of the Dark Ice Tribe also came out. Bastards of the Ice Soul clan. Kill! Let's fight to the death. The people of the Dark Ice Tribe roared. They knew that they would not be able to survive today. They could only fight to the death. Many figures rushed out from the endless glacier and fought with the experts of the Ice Soul clan and Kongxian School. A fierce battle broke out. At this moment, the people of the Flaming Tribe, Invincible Kenzo, Mystic Academy and other forces slowed down and even stopped at the back. Let them fight first. It's best if both sides are injured. Let's get ready too. The sect master of the Invincible Kenzo and the dean of the Winged Demon Academy communicated secretly. Murderous intent flashed in their eyes. In the end, they stopped at a distance and secretly prepared. These fellows are indeed unreliable. The people of the Ice Soul clan also noticed those people's actions. However, they were busy fighting with the Dark Ice Tribe and could not do anything about it. There's something fishy going on. Lu Ming stood in the air, the corners of his lips curling into a cold smile. He naturally saw the actions of the Invincible Kenzo and other forces. If these people want to die, I don't mind swallowing them whole. A black-robed man next to Lu Ming sneered. This black-robed man was naturally Guemo in disguise. No, don't attack unless it's absolutely necessary, Lu Ming said. Guemo was his trump card. He would not attack unless it was absolutely necessary. The two sides continued to fight, but Lu Ming's side had the upper hand. Even if there were only the Ice Soul clan and Kongxian School, their strength was far above the Dark Ice Tribes. Previously, they had been wary of the killing formation set up by the Dark Ice Tribe. Now that the killing formation had been broken, the Dark Ice Tribe was naturally no match for them. There was an elder from the Ice Soul clan who was extremely powerful. Wherever he went, no one was his match. He had already killed 6 divine kings. Lu Ming could see that the elder was at the 4th layer of the King God realm. He should be the ancestor of the Ice Soul clan. The Dark Ice Tribe did not have anyone at the 4th layer of the King God realm. The strongest was at the 3rd layer of the King God realm. The 3rd layer of the King God realm from the Dark Ice Tribe was locked in a fierce battle with the patriarch of the Ice Soul clan. However, no one was a match for the ancestor of the Ice Soul clan. He was invincible. His body flashed and he killed an expert of the Ice Soul clan. With the help of the other experts, the battle was one-sided. Soon, more than half of the Ice Soul clan's experts were killed. Anine, how dare you steal the treasure of the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion? How dare you? Hand over the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal. The patriarch of the Ice Soul clan shouted. Don't even think about it. If you want it, come and get it yourself. The Dark Ice Tribe's patriarch sneered. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. The ancestor of the Ice Spirit clan charged toward Anine, the leader of the Dark Ice clan. Boom! The ancestor of the Ice Soul clan slammed his palm down. A boundless cold wave turned into a terrifying palm energy that shot toward Anine. Yin's expression changed drastically. He used all his strength to counter the attack. However, a 3rd layer of the King God realm could not withstand the strength of a 4th layer of the King God realm. With a loud explosion, Yin's body was sent flying. Even though he cultivated ice attribute divine power, a layer of ice still appeared on his body, almost freezing him. He spat out a mouthful of blood. However, as soon as the blood came out, it turned into ice crystals. The ancestor of the Ice Soul clan pounced on Anine like a ferocious lion. Senior, please spare his life, Lu Ming shouted in time. The ancestor of the Ice Soul clan held back a little. However, Anine was still sent flying. A layer of ice covered him completely, making it difficult for him to move. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.